Chaskelson says the Commission received 2 whistleblower reports of Karim being spotted recently at a shopping centre in the Western Cape.
We are going to issue a subpoena later today to the hospitals at which he's been receiving treatment to establish when he was admitted and when he was discharged, since he testified at the Commission. We're also going to be issuing a subpoena to his doctor, who's based in Cape Town, to establish the dates on which he has seen Mr. Karim. And we don't expect that it will take us more than a day to obtain this information.
Chaskelson says there is nothing in the medical certificate submitted by Karim to the Commission that suggests he cannot provide the documents requested for him.
You'll recall, Commissioners, that we're still waiting for Mr. Karim to tell us, for example, who the auditors of his companies are. There's nothing in his doctor's note that suggests that his health conditions are of such an order that he's been unable to do that for 2 months. Similarly, we're still waiting for Mr. Karim to furnish audited or even unaudited financial statements for 3 of his companies.
Fikile Mbalula has denied any involvement in truth and reconciliation cases during his time as police minister. Mbalula took to the hot seat at the Commission of Inquiry, which is probing allegations of deliberate delays in the prosecution of apartheid-era crimes. The Commission took him through questioning related to his time as police minister, a position he held from March 2017 to February 2018. Mbalula says he had no authority to direct investigations, allocate resources or influence decisions on the prosecution of these cases.
I'm not in possession of any material that may be relevant to the inquiry of the Commission. I never had access to memoranda, correspondence, minutes of meetings or other documentary records relating to the TRC cases referred by the Amnesty Committee for Investigation or Prosecution.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has questioned whether Parliament has sufficient evidence, to suggest he acted in bad faith and should face impeachment over events related to the theft of US dollars from his farm 6 years ago. His legal team has told the Western Cape High Court today that the President would be publicly humiliated if he were to be subjected to oral testimony before evidence contained in an independent panel report is judicially reviewed. Ramaphosa wants the court to stay impeachment proceedings until then. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Advocate Wim Traingrove says the independent panel appointed by Parliament in 2022 failed to sufficiently consider whether the evidence put before it was sufficient to suggest that the President misconducted himself.
So, for the misconduct to reach the level of an impeachable offence, you must find that the President intentionally transgressed the rule. In other words, that he knew of the rule and intentionally transgressed it.
Traingrove believes the panel erred in its duties and impeachment proceedings should not continue until such time as the court has reviewed the Section 89 report.
Is there prima facie evidence that the President acted in bad faith? And it never asked that question.
Traingrove says the President deserves to be protected under Parliament's rules against a process that's not based on sufficient evidence. The hearing continues. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
The legal battle involving Nigerian televangelist Timothy Omotosho is far from over. The National Prosecuting Authority has been granted leave to appeal his acquittal. The Supreme Court ruling now paves the way for the state to challenge the High Court judgment that cleared Omotosho and his 2 co-accused of rape, human trafficking and racketeering charges. Mongezi Goko reports.
In an order issued on the 26th of June, the Supreme Court of Appeal granted the National Prosecuting Authority condemnation for its late application and leave to appeal. The decision means the state will now have an opportunity to argue before the country's second highest court that the Eastern Cape High Court erred when it acquitted Omotosho, Lusanda Sulani and Zukiswa Sito earlier this year. The appeal court has not overturned the acquittals. Rather, it has found the state's application warrants a full hearing before the court. A date for the appeal has not yet been announced. Mongezi Goko, Eyewitness News.
And in Cuba, work is continuing to restore power to areas still in the dark following a nationwide power outage. The latest bout of darkness marks the 3rd blackout in less than 10 days. It's understood yesterday's outage was caused by a problem with a generating unit at a thermoelectric plant. Cuba was already struggling to keep the lights on before US President Donald Trump cut off its oil supplies in January. Officials say the fuel shortages have made the national grid more susceptible susceptible to outages. Gold is trading at $4,026.82 an ounce. The rand is at 16.35 to the dollar, 21.94 to the pound, 18.67 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $85.14 a barrel.
Heading into the Joburg CBD, that's coming from the Rivoli area. There's slow-moving traffic in Amalgam. This is on Main Reef Road between Production and Anderson. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in four ways: Winnie Mandela Drive and Monte Cassino Boulevard.
In your sport, Rodri's masterclass anchors Spain's march into the FIFA World Cup final. Marumo Gallant's doing everything to help Tapelo Zulu after he stages his own kidnapping. And Sunny Lee announces return to gymnastics ahead of the 2028 Olympics.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN: evidence leaders at the Madlanga Commission have cast doubt on the health status of controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 7:02.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's 9 minutes past 3 on Wednesday, the 15th of July. This is 7:02 Drive with me, John Perlman. Welcome to the show. Down in the Western Cape, day one in the High Court, where the judge has been hearing arguments in the matter between the President and Parliament.
A motion that was initiated by a member in terms of Section 89 of the Constitution is halted through judicial process, despite that constitutional obligation is to be performed to finality, and the President is never held to account at any stage, given that a President is not somebody employed indefinitely or for life. It's somebody then who is elected for a specific duration of 5 years. Those are the factors that the Constitutional Court has taken into account to come with such an extraordinary order. I accept it's an extraordinary order, actually. It's quite extraordinary. And I want this bench to ask itself that question. Why did the Constitutional Court make this extraordinary order in paragraph 7 of the order? Because it has concluded that this report must be processed as a matter of great importance.
That's William Mukhari, SC, arguing before the court today. A little bit later, we'll hear from Lindsay Dentlinger, our EWN reporter, at issue Parliament's investigation, of course, of the money in the couch at the President's Palapala farm. Lindsay with us at around 10 minutes past 5. After all the arm wrestling and tongue twisting that has gone on over whether Starlink can operate in South Africa, Amazon's competing system called Leo has been given permission to offer an alternative in our country. How did that happen? What, by the way, exactly has happened? We'll get the lowdown from Duncan McLeod of Tech Central, where he's the editor and founder. He'll be joining us on that at 10 to 5. Today's session of the Madlanga Commission has been rather fiercely contested, certainly the first half of the day. The first issue, the postponement request by counsel for Vusimuzi Matlala.
We have spent over an hour my learned friend engaging you on matters that don't get to that conclusion. That's where she ought to have started and would have saved significant amount of time. I say this because on reading the affidavit in support of the application for postponement, one must bear in mind that we appeared before you on the 7th of July. Everything that is in that affidavit predates our appearance. And it is at that appearance, notwithstanding the facts as asserted in that affidavit, an undertaking was made. So if those facts were not relevant prior to the 7th, And the very facts, notwithstanding the very facts, they were able to make specific undertakings, which included filing by the 8th of July and appearing on the 15th. I truly do not understand how then they become relevant come the 15th. They revive, they suddenly become relevant. The challenge with this application is nothing in the affidavit speaks to the period between the 7th and the 15th.
Yeah, so that's evidence leader advocate Mahlape Sillo. In the end, Mr. Matlala did get his postponement. The other issue, of course, was the questions asked about the health of Northwest Province businessman Suleiman Karim. We'll look at both of those when we chat to Tabiso Goba, who's been following this very, very closely. He's joining us in about 5 minutes' time. We'll hear about a campaign to compel companies to pay over pension funds that they're actually withholding. The amount countrywide of money not as required by law paid across literally runs into billions. One of the organizations spearheading this campaign is the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, and we'll hear from them a little bit after 4 o'clock. And of course, as we always do every day, we're going to be playing you some music. Now, one of the things that has come out in the music and entertainment industry today by way of news is that Brandy is going to be playing in South Africa.
When you feel your heart's guarded and you see the break started, when the clouds have all departed, you'll be right here with me.
B-Rock, Dog Child, V-Back.
You'll be right here with me.
Brandy coming to South Africa in December. So the question we're asking you today as we explore the wonderful world of music, and of course the main and most interesting part of it is what you tell us you like and why. We're asking you the best R&B singer, female singer from the 90s in your view, and choose a song as well, please, so we can start lining up a playlist. Send those to 072 702 1702, or if you want to give us a call, 011 883 0702. To the markets, with the oil price stuck in an expensive place today, currently $85.15 a barrel, JSE is having another down day, I'm afraid. The all shares lost 535 points so far today, with Premier leading the losers, down by 7%. Datatech is off by 3.7%, Karoo down by 3.6%. Doing much better, Richemont is up by 4.9%, Naspers has gained 3.7%, and Clicks is up by 2%. The rand is trading at 16 rand 36 against the dollar. Euro will cost you 18 rand 68. That's a 4-cent improvement on this time yesterday, and 21 rand 93 will get you a pound. Not much change there. Stephen Critters joins us with all the market news at 4:25. We'll have sport with Tolakele Mganga. Karabuchali has the traffic news, and Mbali Dlamini back with us at 3:30 with the latest news headlines. We cover as much as we can. We keep the news as fresh as we can find it. But you know what? There's always stuff that we may not have heard about. There are things happening in your neighborhood. And of course, neighborhood can mean so many different things in this wild up world. But the point I'm making is this. If there's something you know about that we don't, please do drop us a note on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's 16 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So yesterday we did something that I thought was a lot of fun. We enjoyed hearing your Ellis Park memories, and we enjoyed giving away a really great prize, which I'll tell you about in a moment. The reason we're focusing on Ellis Park and looking, trawling the 702 family for your memories of this, I think, just remarkable place in the heart of our city. As I mentioned yesterday, my going to Ellis Park dates back literally to the late 1960s, and I've got an absolute treasure trove of memories We don't need mine today, but we'd love to get yours. So, memories of Ellis Park. And we're focusing on it because the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk begins and ends at Ellis Park. And I can't think of a more fitting place to gather people in their numbers. And we're really hoping you will join us there. Now, one way in which you could join us is not only take part in the walk, 5Ks, 8Ks, or 15, but you could also join us after you've done the hard yards and come and sit with us and get to spend a bit of time with the 702 team in our VIP area. The prize we're offering is 2 VIP tickets, and we're going to give it to the person who comes up with the most interesting and well-told story of an Ellis Park memory. Send those, please, to 072 702 1702. We'll listen to them carefully. We'll play a few of the best, and in the end, we'll pick a winner. And whoever wins, well, we're going to be meeting you for certain on the 26th of July. Jonathan Fairbairn, you've been to Ellis Park a fair bit. Yesterday, we mainly got sports memories, although a really nice story about working there during a Rolling Stones concert. But it's been a venue for other things as well. What have you got?
Yeah, afternoon, John. So, I mean, I'd been to Ellis Park many times for sporting events. But the first concert I watched at Ellis Park was Eminem. When he came out here in 2014, in March.
Okay,
and it was a fantastic concert, I must say. I wasn't really expecting too much from him being live because obviously he raps, but he was very good.
The band was great.
And the band was fantastic. Yeah. Were you there as well?
I went to the Cape Town one.
Oh, were you in Cape Town? Okay. My sister and I went along to that, and we had a really, really good time. And for some reason, I can't think, but like I thought maybe it rained a little bit in the beginning, and then the rain had stopped, and I was like, oh, this rain's going to ruin everything. But it was a really good memory, and the first concert I'd seen at Ellis Park.
Okay, and give us a taste. I mean, not necessarily from that concert, but Eminem live. I've heard his music. I don't think I've ever heard a live track.
So I went and I Google searched Eminem live at Ellis Park, and the AI assistant for Google brought up some guy who filmed the whole concert.
Oh,
so you can watch the whole concert. But the audio is not great for on air. But I found another piece that Eminem had done live at one of the award shows. Let's take a listen, Peter.
He's so mad that he won't give up that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows his whole back that he's broke. It don't matter. He's broke. He knows that, but he's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again. Yo, this old rap shit, he better go capture this moment and hope it don't. You better lose yourself in the music. The moment you better let it go. One shot, there's your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
The sounds of Eminem live. That is part of Jonathan Fairbairn's favorite Ellis Park memory. Karabo Charlie, an Ellis Park memory of yours?
Actually, I wished I saw the Eminem concert at Ellis Park because apparently it was much better. There was fireworks and the works, and
yes.
In Cape Town, apparently they had banned fireworks during those years. But my fond and earliest memories of Ellis Park, my very first time going there, I went with a friend of mine and his dad. We went to go watch a Currie Cup game. That was my very first time. I think it was the Lions and the Falcons, and I was just like, wow. And then I discovered that my dad's work, they had a booth.
Yes.
Score Metals had a booth back then. And then I was like, yo, Dad, why don't you organize tickets so that I can also go watch games there? And then from then on, he knew that I was interested. He hustled tickets at work, and every time there was games, Pirates games, because it used to be Pirates home games, he would give me tickets to go because, I don't know, he had a fear of going to stadiums, but he gave me tickets and I would go with my friends and we'll go to the VIP and eat as much as we want and enjoy the football.
Special memories indeed. In a booth, in a box, watching your favorite team with food and something to drink on tap. Your Ellis Park memory, please send it to us on 072 702 1702. We have a great prize for you. And hey, people, let's go to Ellis Park on the 26th of July and make some more Ellis Park memories. The starting point and the end point of the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Looking forward to seeing you there. 22 minutes past 3. Let's catch up with traffic.
Yes, John. Well, at this stage in Sunning Hill, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is due to those roadworks approaching the intersection of Rivonia Road and Witkoppen, heading into the Joburg CBD. That's coming from the Rivoli area. Traffic a bit sluggish in Amalgam on Main Reef Road between Production and Anderson. And look out for those faulty traffic lights in Sandton at Greyston and the M1. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Peregrine Capital presents Brian Habana's Count to 100.
In my journey to 100, it started with my first cap, then my second, 10th, 50th, 90th, 99th.
Brian Habana, his 100th international test.
You get to 100 one decision at a time. For 28 years, Peregrine Capital has applied that same discipline to turn 1 million rand into 100 million. Peregrine Capital. Invest in performance. An authorized FSP. Past performance non-indicative of future performance. T's and C's apply.
You feel it long before it hits. The rumble of something big. That's 10Bet. Where the stakes rise and every online game hits like lightning. Deposit 50 Rand or more and get the welcome offer package of up to 5,000 Rand. Join now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation. Toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 0766750710.
Do you have a car you like to sell, but don't trust your uncle or your pal? Then we buy cars, it's just for you. Buying cars is what we do. We offer service with a smile. We always go the extra mile. Use a place that you trust and sell your car to us.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
702 Drive. Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 have been looking for small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful solutions. One business will be walking away with 200,000 Rand in cash, complemented by strategic business support, mentorship and growth tools. Catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa on 17 July from 6 a.m. when we'll announce the winner of Nedbank Business Ignite on 702. T's and C's apply. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Right, let's focus our attention on this. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, some pretty heated debates around the request by Council for Vusimuzi Matlana for an extension. Eventually, that extension was granted. I think he'll be back on the 1st of September, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that date, actually appearing at the Madlanga Commission, but there's plenty of time now for him to put together the documents, the affidavit, and so on. But the other issue that was very much front and center after that was whether or not the Northwest Province businessman, Suleiman Karim, is actually as sick as his counsel insists he is, because once again, on a day when he was meant to appear, the commission was informed that he is, because for health reasons, unable to be there. This is what evidence leader Matthew Chaskelson then had to say.
Late in the afternoon yesterday, we received two different whistleblower reports, both confirming that Mr. Karim and an entourage had been seen yesterday going out for lunch at a shopping centre in the Western Cape. The two reports corroborated the same details. They seem to be independent of one another, and they've now been confirmed by eyewitnesses at that shopping centre.
Okay, so that's a fairly explosive bit of information. I'm not sure whether there's more confirmatory detail that is to be forthcoming. But let's bring in Tabiso Gorbo, who has been watching this closely. Tabiso, a very good afternoon to you. I heard mention of CCTV footage. Has that been acquired? Where do we stand with that? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. Yes, the Madlanga Commission, or the Chief Evidence Leader, Matthew Chaskelson, did mention that this information came to them yesterday afternoon, that they received information from whistleblowers saying that they spotted Suleiman Karim at a shopping center in the Western Cape in Cape Town. He went to a Woolies and he later went to have lunch at a restaurant. And so there has been preliminary investigations that the Madlala Commission has done, speaking to some eyewitnesses. But what they're going to do to just get obviously much more hardcore proof is that they are going to be requesting the CCTV camera footage of that shopping center, also of that restaurant, but also doing a much more deeper dive into actually determining 100% whether Suleiman Karim was actually there having lunch in Cape Town.
So the commission took another decision in this regard, a subpoena issued to whom?
Yes, so we know that in April earlier this year that Mr. Suleiman Karim suffered what we believe to be a heart attack here at a gym in Stanton, and he was rushed to hospital. And since then, there has been a number of postponements because he hasn't been feeling very well. And the Madlala Commission, or the chief evidence leader, Matthew Chaskelson, saying that based on the medical reports that were submitted today, he was supposed to appear at the Madlala Commission today. So he's saying based on the reports that were submitted today, it shows that the last time he was in hospital was on the 17th of June. So now what the Madlala Commission wants to establish is that, one, when did he get discharged, if he did get discharged, and what is the real state of his condition. So what they've done is they've subpoenaed the medical records of Mr. Suleiman Karim, of both his doctors here in the Northwest and also in Cape Town, just to sort of give a list or maybe draw up a map to try and trace his movements because he does have a doctor in Cape Town. So this is what they want to do. So they've subpoenaed his medical records. But I do have to add, John, that the Madlala Commission still wants a number of documents from Mr. Suleiman Karim. So these documents relate to his financial statement, his businesses, and what the evidence leader, Matthew Chaskelson, said that there's nothing in his medical records that have been submitted so far that show that he's unable to ask one of his accountants, one of his legal team to say, can you print out these audited financial documents for these companies? So basically the Madlala Commission just saying that, it seems that Mr. Suleiman Karim is playing a game of chicken and mouse with them.
So it's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, counsel for Mr. Karim, Advocate Kamil Premid, was there. Did he offer anything by way of reply? Did he, for example, say, on the days in question, I don't know if they've said on what days, this sighting, and if people are watching on YouTube, as you can watch us, you'll see that I'm putting sighting in inverted commas because that still needs to be proved beyond reasonable doubt, I think. Did he offer anything by way of riposte and say, look, on these days, I happen to know my client was in Joburg or somewhere else?
Well, what we do know is that Mr. Kamil Premid, who represents Mr. Suleiman Karim, is that they were informed this morning about these whistleblower reports of Mr. Suleiman Karim being spotted in Cape Town. Mr. Kamil Premid didn't say much, saying that, we've only just found out about this, but saying that they're also looking forward to seeing the evidence and the CCTV footage that the commission might produce at a later stage, and saying that that's when they will obviously traverse that conversation. But for now, he's saying that, they've been briefed by his client that his client is sick and is too unwell to appear at the Madlala Commission.
And just finally, I mean, any idea when all of this is going to happen? I mean, the footage has to be acquired, presumably. The term chain of custody is probably the wrong word, but it would have to be done in a way where there's absolute certainty about its origin, it's not been edited or tampered with in any way. So I'm assuming it's not going to happen today or even tomorrow. But do we know when next the commission will engage with this?
Well, we understand that the commission will be moving very fast, not just on the CCTV footage, but also on the medical records of Mr. Suleiman Karim. That's because on Friday, there's going to be a postponement application, a formal postponement application. So I imagine the idea is that the evidence leader, Matthew Chaskelson, will want to have all these ducks in a row by Friday, so that I can sense that they do want that postponement application to be rejected, and that Mr. Suleiman Karim is compelled to come and testify at the Madlala Commission, because they believe that he's had enough time, and obviously the commission is running out of time, and he is a very key witness in this probe.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to move quite quickly then. I was thinking more weeks than days, but Friday it is. Thank you, Tabiso Goba, with that update from the Madlala Commission today. Very, very interesting sessions, and it's still going on with Brigadier Pariachi, continuing to testify. He is a senior investigator at IDAC, Independent Directorate Against Corruption. Some sparks flew there yesterday. We'll find out through the news bulletins what's happening there today. 28 minutes to 4. Right, let's bring in Bali Tlamini in with the latest news headlines. Terrible numbers, I believe, coming out in regard to initiation.
That's correct, John. A very good afternoon. The death toll linked to this year's winter initiation season has now risen to 43. The winter period for the rite of passage runs from May to July, while the summer season takes place from November to January. The tradition is a rite of passage into manhood and involves isolated secretive bush camps, circumcision and lessons on adult responsibilities. Lauren Isaacs reports.
Most of the initiation deaths this season have been in Mpumalanga, where 18 young men passed away. The Eastern Cape has reported 14, followed by the Northwest with 4, Limpopo on 3, and Gauteng and the Free State tragically seeing 2 fatalities. Government has been trying to make the traditional practice safer, and to this end, 58 illegal initiation schools have been shut down this winter, while there have also been 40 arrests and more than 100 criminal complaints. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velenkosini Tlhabisa has again called for initiation to be practiced in a manner that protects the dignity, health and lives of every candidate. He adds parents and guardians must ensure their children attend legally registered initiation schools with a traditional surgeon and a traditional nurse duly authorized in accordance with the law. The minister also urges them to remain actively involved throughout the process and to report any suspicious or illegal activities. Lauren Isaacs, Eyewitness News.
Convicted sex offender Ian Wes was a no-show in the Wynberg Magistrates Court today due to illness. His pre-sentencing proceedings were due to begin following his conviction in March this year. The court found Wes guilty of indecently assaulting a grade 5 learner at the Rondebosch Boys Primary School in 1988. The matter has now been provisionally postponed to allow the defence to submit a follow-up sick note to assess his health. Meanwhile, Miranda Jordan from NPO Women and Men Against Child Abuse says they are very disappointed by the delays.
South Africa must ensure that it does not become a safe haven for paedophiles like Ian Wes. Ian Wes, a convicted paedophile, is living as a free man. And what we need as soon as possible is that he is held accountable.
And in Uganda, opposition leader Kizza Besigye has refused to accept court-appointed lawyers for his treason trial. The 70-year-old longtime rival of President Yoweri Museveni is accused of plotting to remove him from power by force. Besigye has been in jail since 2024 when he was kidnapped in Kenya and smuggled back into Uganda. When his treason trial began earlier this year, the court said he had to choose from a list of state-approved lawyers, but Besigye refused. The judge in the case says he has 2 weeks to accept the lawyers, and the case has since been adjourned until the 29th of July. In your weather, a fine afternoon in Gauteng. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees.
Sunning Hill traffic remains heavily backed up. This is approaching the intersection of Witkoppen Road and Rivonia Road due to ongoing roadworks. Heading into the Joburg CBD, traffic remains sluggish in Amalgam on Main Reef Road. This is between Production and Anderson.
The top story in EWN, the death toll linked to this year's winter initiation season has now risen to 43.
As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to save money. But have you looked at saving on your business insurance premium? With Outsurance Business Insurance, you could save big, like Bosmansdam High School.
We were with our previous insurance for 10 years plus before switching to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We are saving 3,705 Rand per month.
It was so quick and easy, we should have switched sooner.
Ready to switch and save? Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Don't miss the last week of the Checkers XXL Savings Championship. Get Nescafe Gold Caffeinated Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams for $149.99. Knorr Mates Meal Kit. Buy any two and get a third free. Save 43 Rand. And Clover Olive Pride blend of seed oils and extra virgin olive oil. 1 litre, 2 for 150 Rand. Valid until 19 July. Only at Checkers.
This Wednesday, July 15th, you could win an estimated 22 million Rand total lotto jackpot. That's 17 million for Lotto, 1 million for Lotto Plus One, and 4 million for Lotto 5 Max. Catch the live draw this Wednesday at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Caesar Kaya.
Kaelo Lifestyle, a mental wellness and support program for employees and their families, is calling on you to take a step towards better mental health. As the mental wellness partner of 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, Kaelo is bringing even more purpose to the walk. From checking in with yourself to celebrating connection, every step is designed to support your well-being. So rally your team and walk for mental wellness. Visit primemediaplus.com for more information. Kaelo Lifestyle, changing lives and improving business. On 702, let's walk the talk. 702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, I haven't screamed so loud. I think your first sentence when you opened the show just made my entire year. I don't need much now. I'm done. Brandy's coming. I am open to do side jobs, clean houses, do whatever needs to be done to get those tickets. Because, wow, that's it. I'm done. Thanks, John.
Hi, John. How are you doing? So, my first Ellis Park experience was 2010, Brazil versus, I think it was Korea. It was a very, very cold night. An amazing game, World Cup here in South Africa. Then my second time was also the Eminem concert. It was raining. It was a coldish night, but an amazing night as well. That time I went with my wife, so it was a very nice experience. And I think the opening act was also, what's his name with a long cap from South Africa. So, yeah, that was also an amazing night.
Yeah, yes, Ellis Park's always been bittersweet for me. I don't support the Lions, so that's probably why. Earliest memory, we were there when that bomb explosion went off, and we were still very young. And I remember the cops running around, chasing us, trying to herd us all away from the vehicles. And we were waiting for our parents. We were still in the stadium, and we were waiting at the vehicle for them to go and fetch us. And we had we wouldn't leave the car, despite the fact that a bomb had just gone off and shrapnel was falling all over the show. But then made it all up. My son played in a curtain raiser for the Springbok All Blacks game against Monaco in the sevens, and that was kind of my personal highlight. But many, many happy memories there. Lots of good times.
Hi, John. My Ellis Park memories go back to that dreadful night at the Ellis Park where Chiefs and Pirates played. And yeah, man, a lot of people died. My dad and I were actually hustling. We were selling flags at the time. And we actually left much earlier because we ran out of stock. And then, yeah, we heard on the news that there's been a stampede and quite a lot of people died. So yeah, that was one of the memories. But I did go back there later, I think 10 years later, and I watched a rugby game between the Lions and the Bulls. So yeah, man, Ellis Park. Crazy memories. Tino from Kempton.
Yeah, Tina reminding us of a terrible tragedy that took place on the 11th of April 2001. 43 people losing their lives there. Ellis Park memories. Let's hear yours, please. We have 2 VIP tickets to the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. The tickets will obviously get you access to whichever of the routes you plan to walk. And then afterwards, you'll join us in our VIP area. Great music terrific company. We can promise that. And there'll be some really good food as well. So please do keep those coming on 072 7021 702. Certainly don't have to be just sports memories. Let's remember there's been music and all sorts of other things taking place at Ellis Park as well. Let's hear your stories, please. It's 18 minutes now to 4.
EWN Sport.
So, Tolakela, I can't remember your predictions yesterday. I said France would win 1-1 and then on penalties. I couldn't have been more wrong. Which did you tip Spain? I'm trying to recall.
Absolutely not, John. I said 3-1 to France.
Okay.
After extra time.
Okay. Well, people should listen to us more carefully. Whatever we say, do the opposite.
We don't have the lotto numbers. Don't ask us.
Right. No, we do. That's the whole point. Whatever we say, choose other numbers. But yeah, it was something of a masterclass, really, from the Spanish, eh?
Absolutely. John and Rodri in particular, who led the way for Spain as they beat France 2-0 to book their spots in the 2026 FIFA World Cup final. Pedro Porro was among the goals as La Roya sealed their spot in just a second ever global showpiece event final, while their captain had this reaction to their triumph over the pre-tournament favourites.
Collective effort of everyone. I think Spain is being growing around the World Cup. I think today we did the best performance so far. What a team, we face with all the strength they have in all the lines. All the lines, very, very strong team. They can punish you in every single moment. So I think the focus on every single minute was key in this game. Unbelievable effort of everyone.
In transfer news, Belgium defender Thomas Meunier has signed for Sunderland on a 2-year contract, while international teammate Yuri Tillemans has joined Manchester United from Aston Villa. The 29-year-old has signed a 5-year deal at Old Trafford and is the club's third signing of the window, following the arrivals of Andres Santos and Karl Darlow. Meanwhile, Leandro Trossard has left England to join Turkish side Besiktas from Arsenal as he ends his 3-year spell in North London. Last season, Trossard scored 6 goals and provided 6 assists in his 31 league appearances as the Gunners ended their 22-year wait for a league title. Locally, Merumo Gallants chairman Abraham Selo says the club is doing their best to support Tapelo Lulu, who's suspended pending a police investigation into an alleged fake kidnapping. Lulu was kidnapped in Emalahleni last month with a ransom demanded of 50,000 rand sent to his family. However, days later, the 21-year-old returned home unharmed, leading to the South African Police Service to suggest that the entire ordeal may have been fabricated and linked to the player's financial struggles.
It's coming very well. Yesterday I spoke to the mother as well, and then we understand. We can't do it alone. We need the parents, we need the nations, we need the law force, and also we have to be careful in terms of the peer grouping, because how our players live, which friends, type of friends do they choose. That is very much important. Mother is aware that now we are on it.
And 6-time Olympic medalist Sunny Lee has announced that she's coming back to gymnastics after not competing since the 2024 Olympics. She took team gold with the USA in Paris, but last year opened up about her health issues, which included being diagnosed with a chronic kidney disease in 2023. Lee's return was revealed in a video on Instagram and comes 2 years before the LA Games. Tolakela Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, at 4:45, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. Problems, again, early in Roodepoort. What have we got?
Yeah, there's an accident scene, John, in the Roodepoort area. This is on Ontdekkers near CR Swart, causing heavy delays. You can also expect bumper-to-bumper traffic in Sunning Hill. That's approaching the intersection of Witkoppen and Rivonia Road due to ongoing roadworks. Heading into the Joburg CBD, traffic sluggish. This is in the Amalgam area. Those delays coming from the Rivonia area. That's Main Reef Road between Production and Anderson. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Sandton at Grayston and the M1. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
South Africa, it's time to turn up the heat. Plumlink is bringing you the Mzansi warm-up with reduced prices on quick-cart geysers. Choose from 100 and 150-litre geysers, reliable, powerful, and built to keep your home piping hot this winter. With over 160 stores nationwide, there's a Plumlink near you. Get yours now for just $4,799, limited time only. Hot water, hot deals, don't miss out. Plumlink, your local plumbing store.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Favorite Ellis Park memories? Give us a call with yours. I'm still holding on to all of mine. It's quite a little vault of treasure that I have, but I'm, as I say, much more keen to hear yours. Tola Kelly, you've been there often. Anything that particularly would stand out if you had to pick one?
I have two. One is similar to one of the voice notes before my bulletin. We had a cousin actually say he was going to that derby at Ellis Park.
Okay.
So we remember watching it on TV and all of us were just like panicking because we were also trying to get hold of him.
Yes.
And he wasn't answering. But like after an hour, he had managed to get out and call us. And
good.
he was just like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. It was just a scary moment. But I will say my top one, I think it was 2017 or 2016. The Lions had advanced to the final of the Currie Cup. But because I'd been following them so intensely throughout that campaign, they invited me to their VIP suites and was
great.
we're going to give you the VIP access to watch this team. They didn't win the trophy that year. But I enjoyed being at Ellis Park and being treated like a very special person as opposed to just like a journal.
Yeah, and a very special person is what you are. We could have told them that and saved them all the delays. But no, it's a wonderful story, and thank you for that. 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. Now, it's Mandela Month, and of course, the 18th of July is Mandela Day. We're going to be talking to Dr. Mbongiseni Buthelezi, who's the CEO at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. A lot of people asking questions. Is this still relevant? Why do we still do it? And if we are going to continue doing it, maybe we need a clear idea as to exactly why we do it. I've got all sorts of questions uppermost in my mind. Maybe you've got a few, but if nothing else, send us your views, even if they don't come in the form of a question. Dr. Buthelezi with us shortly on 702.
What is special about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is that it returns to where Walk the Talk all started, where we'll be walking in the inner city, celebrating the resurgence of the city of Johannesburg and celebrating the people who make it special. You should take part in this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk because there's so much good stuff happening in the city of Johannesburg. The city is having a moment, and it's thanks to people and organizations who never stopped believing in the power and the magic of the city. So this year, I can't wait to be at the start of this momentous 702 Walk the Talk. I haven't been to Ellis Park in many, many years. So while I might not see you on the route, I'll definitely be at the beginning to see you off as you begin your journey through the inner city. To enter the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com and we'll see you there on the 26th of July.
When you're walking the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, keep your eyes open because Mazda is bringing wonder to the 8-kilometer route. There'll be 5 Mazda Wonder experiences, including a piano performance, a world of color, a bubble field, a Japanese garden, and the Mazda Wonder Hub. Visit one of the 5, then capture and share your wonder moment on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 Rand. Mazda, where wonder awaits. T's and C's apply.
At the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, snap and share any one of 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag Mazda SA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
Looking to save money on your business insurance? Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Niku from the Gas Mart.
I was my previous insurer for 9 years before switching to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with my premiums at the moment. I wish we switched sooner to Outsurance Business Insurance.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Dolly from Boertersig is vegetarian-ish, with a reputation to uphold. Here's what she whispered about the half chicken and a single side for $125.
What? I don't eat chicken, but for Nando's, I make the exception.
Well, good thing there's a salad on the side for appearances. Of course. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. This is Mandela Month, and of course, on the 18th, we mark a Nelson Mandela Day. It's a thing that comes around every year. Obviously, it does. As an annual event, it would. But invariably, there are conversations amongst people who say, well, why are we still doing this? And does what we do have any real meaning? Well, to talk about these issues, we're joined now by Dr. Mbongiseni Buthelezi, who is CEO at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Dr. Buthelezi, welcome and thanks very much for your time. Is part of the problem that Nelson Mandela means so many different things to so many different people, and that arguably in the years when he was such a central figure of reconciliation, his role as a determined and absolutely steadfast revolutionary somehow got lost in this figure of him as the grandfather of a new South Africa that was going to make all our problems go away.
John, good afternoon, and good afternoon to the listeners. Thank you for having me. Yes, I think the part of it is that there are different interpretations of Mandela, and people choose which Mandela to lean into. And indeed, over time, as people look back at what was achieved in his presidency, it begins to fade. And so people don't often see what was achieved because there's so much else that has happened since that time. So I think it is the role of organizations like the Nelson Mandela Foundation and others to also keep that memory alive and remind us that there was also Mandela, a younger Mandela, Mandela who was a revolutionary. And sometimes in the life of a country, in the life of the world, we also need to lean into those more revolutionary figures from earlier periods. And I think in this time, we need to lean into that Mandela, who was a good troublemaker to make good trouble for a better society.
I mean, in a way, Mandela Day kind of encapsulates the latter part of Mandela. Well, if we go out and we do good things, we paint classrooms, we clean up rivers that are full of plastic that hasn't been disposed in the way it should. And I'm not disparaging any of these things at all. But presumably if Nelson Mandela was around and actively involved in politics, he would insist that we ask some of the more difficult questions that have become front and center as, you know, maybe some of the rainbow glow has worn off. Do we need to rethink Mandela Day itself and you know, let's do our 67 minutes for, you know, a better society, or indeed a better looking society, as some of the skeptics might say?
I think for me, it's all of the above, in the sense that it's a range of things. It allows different people to lean in different ways. So the people who want to clean streets, or the people who want to offer food to people in their communities, it's part of Mandela Day. The United Nations, for example, which proclaimed Nelson Mandela Day in 2009, the same thing is going to be done by people from the United Nations, including their top leadership, this coming Friday. But it also does give us the opportunity to ask the difficult questions, and that's part of the range, I think, that we need to use Nelson Mandela Day to do. So one of the things that we are doing as the Nelson Mandela Foundation is this evening we're hosting a discussion and a lecture by the mayor of New York, Zoran Kwame Mamdani, where we're talking about the question of what leadership does the world need now? Leadership that serves people, that is not simply about small networks enriching themselves on the backs of the rest of us. So I think that whole range is something that is available to us, and different people use it differently. I know, for example, the Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission, Tsepo Madlingozi, is giving a very pointed lecture at Stellenbosch University as part of Mandela Day celebrations. So I think that's the whole range is available to us.
I wonder what your thoughts are, Dr. Buthelezi, about the kind of immediate post-Mandela period in South Africa, because not to say that Nelson Mandela didn't ask the hard questions, because obviously he did in a very crucial period of South Africa. And, people just need to go back to Codesa and the moment post the Boipatong massacre, where we saw Nelson Mandela at his sternest and most determined and severe. So it wasn't all Mr. Nice Guy at all at the time when he was at his second political peak, I should probably call it. But in the period that followed, we had Thabo Mbeki asking some very tough questions and putting different things, particularly economic inequality, on the agenda. They both came from the same political traditions. Do you think, and the same political party, do you think there was in many ways a misframing in some quarters of if only we had Mandela, because Mandela was so much more conciliatory on things, whereas they were different people, but fundamentally they were in different times in our political history?
So let me answer that in two ways, John. On one hand, I think there was perhaps a misframing. I think the one thing that we also must admit about Madiba is that in his presidency, his big focus was on nation building.
Yes.
On the big symbolic stuff that was quite necessary at the time for us to find ways of living together without killing one another. The hard questions about what kind of economy, what does an inclusive economy look like, that needed to be asked, perhaps were not asked with the same kind of force in the Mandela presidency that was needed. Even as legislation like Black economic empowerment was enacted. Those questions, I think, did come later in the Mbeki presidency much more forcefully, and they needed to be. And so I think we need to not be unfair to anybody, but
Yes.
I think different called for different things and called for different questions to be asked in different ways.
And if you were to take stock of where we are now versus where we were in 1999 when the Mandela presidency concluded, arguably we were sort of hugging each other less, but like any relationship, you might say, well, this one is a lot more real, and we perhaps have a better chance of building a nation on a firm footing than we would do if there was at a time when we hadn't tackled some of the tough questions, which, by the way, we still need to.
So I think the journey that we've gone through has brought us to places where we've been perhaps at low lows, so to speak.
Yes.
From that high of the 1990s, and that has meant we need to find a way forward. So I think the government of national unity that we have is that kind of finding our way forward, having hit high highs and low lows.
Yes.
We have to figure it out. I think that's the long and short of it. And we have to find ways to live together, to thrive together, that are meaningful, that don't leave anybody behind. We've seen the mistakes that have been made over time,
Right.
starting in the presidency itself.
Thank you so much. Fascinating issues as we contemplate Mandela Day on the 18th of July. This entire month is Mandela Month. And yeah, I'd love to get your views. There may be activities in your workplace. There may be conversations you have with family or friends, or just conversations with yourself. How do you look back on the legacy of Nelson Mandela, and what does it mean in July 2026? Give me a call on that. I'd love to get your thoughts. It's a thing I think about quite a bit, and I'd love to know what your take is. 072-702-1702 and 011-883-0702. Our thanks to Dr. Mbongiseni Buthelezi, CEO at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. It's 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Madlanga Commission uncertain about health status of Suleiman Karim, and experts roped in to probe the recent death of a Cartrack employee. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Evidence leaders at the Madlanga Commission have cast doubt on the health status of controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim. Karim was scheduled to testify before the commission today, but his lawyers handed in a medical certificate claiming he was unwell. The commission has postponed Karim's testimony several times since he suffered a suspected heart attack in April this year. Evidence leader Matthew Chaskelson says the commission received 2 whistleblower reports of Karim being spotted recently at a shopping centre in the Western Cape.
We are going to issue a subpoena later today to the hospitals at which he's been receiving treatment to establish when he was admitted and when he was discharged, since he testified at the Commission. We're also going to be issuing a subpoena to his doctor, who's based in Cape Town, to establish the dates on which he has seen Mr. Karim. And we don't expect that it will take us more than a day to obtain this information.
Chaskelson says there is nothing in the medical certificate submitted by Karim that suggests that he cannot provide the documents requested from him.
You'll recall, Commissioners, that we're still waiting for Mr. Karim to tell us, for example, who the auditors of his companies are. There's nothing in his doctor's note that suggests that his health conditions are of such an order that he's been unable to do that for 2 months. Similarly, we're still waiting for Mr. Karim to furnish audited or even unaudited financial statements for 3 of his companies.
The Labour Department says its investigation into the death of a Cartrack employee will determine whether there is a causal link between her death and allegations of poor working conditions. Minister Nomakosazana Meth visited the company's Rosebank headquarters today, nearly 2 months after Gcina Dladla died in a workplace toilet cubicle. Meth says the department has appointed specialists to conduct a thorough investigation, with the probe expected to be completed within 3 months. Nkosikhona Malingamnisi reports.
The circumstances surrounding the death of 29-year-old Gcina Dladla have come back into focus as the Department of Employment and Labour confirms its investigation is continuing. Speaking to EWN shortly after her death, Dladla's family alleged she had repeatedly complained about intolerable working conditions and feared victimization if she took sick leave. Labour and Employment Minister Nomakosazana Meth says investigators are examining all these circumstances surrounding Dladla's death, including whether the company contravened labour laws.
To have the capacity and the speciality to investigate, to even be able to see if there is a causal link, that we do. That is the reason why we've got a multidisciplinary team of experts, including the ones from the International Labour Organization, who want to leave no stone unturned.
Cartrack continues to deny the allegations, which sparked widespread outrage on social media and prompted calls for accountability from civil society organizations and political parties. Nkosikhona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
Parliament's Impeachment Committee says to stay impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa would set a precedent for future heads of state that they can dodge accountability. The committee is opposing an application to halt its proceedings, saying it's carrying out a constitutional court order. The Western Cape High Court has heard today that the president would suffer reputational harm if he were to unfairly be subjected to an impeachment process based on a report which he believes is flawed. Ramaphosa's advocate, Wim Trentgrove, says the report has not established that Ramaphosa willfully misconducted himself following the theft of US dollars from his Palapala farm. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Advocate William Macari has told the court that the Section 89 process is already underway and to stop it would be an attack on the independence of Parliament. Macari says it's important to note that President Ramaphosa did not take issue with the motion tabled in 2022 that triggered the impeachment process. Meanwhile, the African Transformation Movement, which is also opposing the interdict application, says Ramaphosa is attempting to disrupt a parliamentary process that is already in motion. Advocate Anton Katz says if the interdict application is successful, it's unlikely Parliament would be able to continue with the proceedings this year.
This is not the review. This is a disturbance of a process that is unfolding. You will not find on the pleadings any suggestion by the President that when Parliament decided to continue its processes, they acted impermissibly.
The hearing continues. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
And in the UK, government has announced plans to introduce an overnight social media curfew for teenagers. Under the new plan, 16 and 17-year-olds will automatically be locked out of apps like Instagram, TikTok and YouTube between midnight and 6 a.m. Features such as autoplay and endless scrolling will also be disabled by default to encourage better sleep and improved focus at school. The measures are expected to come into effect by the end of 2026, alongside a planned social media ban for children under 16. While the government says trials have shown clear benefits, critics argue the restrictions are too easy to bypass and won't do enough to keep young people safe online. Gold is trading at $4,026.82 an ounce. The rand is at 16.35 to the dollar, 21.94 to the pound, 18.67 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $85.14 a barrel.
Alexandra, heading towards Germiston, expect some delays on the N3 southbound between the Patru Interchange and Kilulis. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Lone Hill at Lone Hill Boulevard and Main Road.
In your sport, England and Argentina renew their rivalry as they clash in a FIFA World Cup semi-final. Didier Deschamps to take charge of a farewell game that no one wants. And the World Cup final halftime show could last up to 30 minutes.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 4 degrees, peaking at 20. Pretoria 6 and 22, and Vereeniging 2 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, evidence leaders at the Madlanga Commission have cast doubt on the health status of controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
18 minutes past 4 on 702 Drive. Great to have you with us on the show. I said 18 minutes past 4. I'm wrong. It's 8 minutes past 4. Relax. You are not 10 minutes late for anything at all, I suppose I should say. Sorry, you are not 10 minutes closer to the end of something you wish was over. The time again, correctly so, 8 minutes past 4. There we go. Coming up in the show over the next hour or so, after 5, we're going to be going down to the Western Cape. Lindsay Dentlinger, our EWN colleague, has been listening very carefully indeed. In the Western Cape High Court, it's President Cyril Ramaphosa versus the Parliamentary Committee looking into the Phala matter. The President had looked to get an interdict to stop the impeachment inquiry, and the back and forth in the court has already been very, very interesting indeed. Lindsay with an update later in the show. Coming up shortly, a matter that I think may be of concern to many of you, and if you've heard about it, I'm sure you want to know more details. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority earlier this month gave indication that many billions of rand that should have been paid over into pension funds by companies making those deductions from employees and possibly you, that money was not being paid across. The arrears are estimated to be around 8.33 billion rand. Now, the authority is setting about in partnership with other arms of government to actually start trying to recover that money and getting it paid where it should be paid. Serena Kamruddin joins us from the FSCA a little later in the show. Looking up at the skies at 10 to 5, we'll talk to Duncan McLeod, editor at Tech Central, a platform that he is also the founder of. The Amazon product, Amazon Leo, has secured a license to operate in South Africa. Very similar, I'm told, although we'll get the tech details later from Duncan, but a very similar offering and playing in the same space as Starlink. So what's happened there? And what is the significance of this particular development? Duncan with us at 10 to 5. You've been joining in the conversation on all kinds of things with the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk coming up soon on the 26th of July. Starting point Ellis Park, finish point, Ellis Park. We asked you for your favorite Ellis Park memories. You've sent us a couple of those, and we're also getting your comments, which I'm enjoying, on Mandela Day and Mandela Month. Is it still significant for you in 2026? Let's hear a few of your thoughts.
This is Tsepo from Pretoria. I'm just appealing to people that will be volunteering, especially government officials, MECs and mayors, who will be going to different places to celebrate Mandela Day. Please, I'm appealing. If you don't know something, don't do it. 2 years back, some guys went to my former school to go and help and paint, which was a good intention. But those government officials are not painted. They basically made a graffiti out of the school, and they simply, after 2 hours of mess, they just packed their stuff and left the school in a disaster. Please, if you can't paint, don't paint. If you are not a plumber, don't try to be a plumber. I'm just appealing.
Hi, John. My best memory of Ellis Park was the Rolling Stones. We came from Durban, and there was no cell phone and Uber those days, and we had to wait for those buses till about 5 o'clock in the morning. Wow! But what a trip! What a rock concert! The Rolling Stones, Ellis Park.
Hi, John. My Ellis Park memory was my first concert in Johannesburg. I'm originally from KZN, and it was to see Snoop Dogg at Ellis Park Stadium. And Snoop had an amazing concert. He did about 20 songs, but he never finished a song. We've been to a lot of concerts, so I thought that was a bit odd. But yeah, that's my memory. With me, my late husband and I went there to see Snoop Dogg. Thanks, Shaista in Randburg.
Yeah, thank you for those Ellis Park memories. Eldon says one of my favorite memories is attending football matches at the venue. The PRO of the league at the time, the late Abdul Bamji, was exceptional in regards to how he marketed and promoted the Sport Cup final tickets. Sold out a week before the events took place due to him having announced in the media and television that fans should make haste as they were selling out fast. His famous pitch line slogan, "Come one, come all," and arrive early to avoid disappointment. Brenda Fassie will be there, Lucky Dube will be there, and Yvonne Chaka Chaka will be there. On match days, Mr. Bamji dressed in suits that matched the sponsor's colours and always looked resplendent. The stadium was full to capacity by midday. Those in attendance got their money's worth and much more, as the events and games were brilliant and provided what he called and Kodak moments to savor and remember, so to speak. Thank you, Eldon. Remember those times very, very well indeed myself. 14 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Out in the traffic, it's busy again in Alex, as we've had a few times this week.
Yeah, I guess it's just peak hour traffic because nothing visible that is causing that delay at this stage. Otherwise, yeah, peak hour traffic N3 southbound heading towards Germiston between the Patroons Change and Kilulis. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land looking pretty good. No major delays or serious accidents have been reported. Otherwise, look out for those faulty traffic lights. That's in the Four Ways area at Winnie Mandela Drive and Monte Casino Boulevard. Zooming into Sandton, if you're leaving the area heading towards Bryanston, Hurlingham, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Sandton Drive between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. It looks like roadworks, but if you're on that route, please confirm what's happening on Sandton Drive, leaving the Sandton CBD. Also look out for those faulty traffic lights in Marlborough at Marlborough Drive and Old Victoria Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
15 minutes on your coffee break at work goes by quickly, but 15 minutes stuck in traffic feels twice as long. Thankfully, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple have been easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen, helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #PointsmenLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
One of our ace reporters from the EWN team has just returned from Burkersfort, where a community there struggles to cross from one side of torrential river to the other to access the only clinic in that vicinity. And some chaps came together. They put together some logs, some corrugated iron, some sticks to make a makeshift bridge. And now they're charging people money to cross the river. And this is known to the authorities. How did we get here?
That river, if you look at it, it's a long river that goes through a number of villages. There is a road that has been constructed with a proper bridge, which unfortunately the communities feels it's a long distance because they wanted a shortcut, especially during this period of initiations. Then they constructed that, which is unacceptable.
Dr. Poppy Ramatuba, the Premier of Limpopo.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Vandalism and theft of water infrastructure affects everyone. Damage to pipes, meters, valves, reservoirs, and other critical infrastructure can result in water outages, low pressure, sewer spillages, and costly repairs that impact communities across Johannesburg. Johannesburg Water urges residents to help protect public infrastructure by reporting suspicious activity affecting the water network. To report incidents or water-related faults, call Johannesburg Water on 010-061 4470. That's on 010-061 4470. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water.
Solve exciting riddles and unravel a web of suspense and adventure with Hollywood Bets and Spinners on Kim Mystery Parcel. You stand a chance to win a share of 1 million rand in cash and bonus bets. Start your quest and bet 2 rand or more on selected Playtech slots every Wednesday between 2:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and Sunday from 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. What scintillating secret will your parcel reveal? Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 19 minutes past 4. Well, earlier this month, very concerning notification in the media from the Financial Sector Conduct Authority referring to a massive arrears in pension contribution payments. This is money obviously deducted from employees like you and me and supposedly paid across into pension funds, which is where people are happily assuming that their retirement is being prepared and provided for. But the information from the FSCA is that total arrears were estimated to be 8.33 billion rand, affecting around 590,000 retirement fund members. Now the FSCA, working with the NPA, the National Prosecuting Authority, the Hawks National Treasury, and possibly some others, are now putting together a plan to actually deal with this problem. Let's find out more about it then, and welcome to 702 Drive, Zarina Kamruddin, who is Divisional Executive for Retirement Funds Supervision at the FSCA. Ms. Kamruddin, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. One thing that struck me is obviously an amount like this doesn't just happen overnight. It builds up slowly but surely over time. What systems are there in place for the monitoring of this accrual and increase in this backlog? Because I would assume that if it's being checked regularly, there might be opportunities to blow the whistle earlier.
Yes, thank you, and good afternoon to you, John, and the listeners. So it's not a new problem, as you rightly point out. It has been, the arrear contributions has been with us for some time. We've tried various things. So as you may know, from 2022, we started the naming and shaming, or the naming of non-compliant employers as well as funds, which has yielded some good positive results because R1 billion has basically been repaid since we've named the non-compliant employers and funds. But of course, more can be done. So ultimately, the fiduciary duty resides with the boards of the funds, and they basically have to take the necessary steps to recover arrear contributions. There's really not an excuse for not doing so, because the pension funds adjudicator, for example, is a free service where they may lodge complaints against non-compliant employers as well as the directors in their personal capacities. So, those are some of the steps that has been taken. We've also, as you mentioned, we've engaged National Treasury. They've then in turn withheld equitable shares of municipalities, which have also yielded positive results. And of course, we've also engaged the Auditor General, who then has decided to basically have the non-compliances, reported as material irregularities, which also has yielded some positive results.
So I want to come back to something you said a moment ago, Ms. Kamruddin. I mean, responsibility rests with the pension funds and the board of those entities. I don't know much about tech, but I do know that tech is very good at reminding me when I haven't paid things. I mean, surely it's not beyond the IT capabilities of major investment companies where this pension money is going to have systems created, IT systems that trigger alerts and say, Perlman and Perlman construction company, we haven't had money from them for 2 months, and then a set of notifications go out. They go out to the company, but maybe they also, if there's a union listed as involved with the workers, I'm just struck by the fact that technological competence these days ought to allow for alerts much, much earlier with a much more targeted focus, because presumably the larger the backlog becomes, the harder it's going to be for the errant company to actually meet their obligations.
No, 100%. But John, it's not as if the alerts aren't going out. I think that they are being alerted. They report to us. The challenge is that, of course, that the employers, basically have indicated that the reason they're not paying over the monies is because they are in financial difficulties. Of course, that's not an excuse, because as you rightly pointed out earlier, they deduct these amounts from members' salaries. So it's really a statutory crime in terms of the Pension Funds Act. But as you may know, that's also a common law crime of theft. So it's not as if technology is failing us or it's not being utilized. It's more a case of employers not coming to the party, notwithstanding being provided with the necessary alerts or information to say pay up or else. And remember, when they are in a state of arrear contributions, they also have late payment interest lobbed on them as well. And as you say, if they don't come to an arrangement or make these payments, the problem just gets worse and worse. And we've seen that because it's the same culprits. If you look at 2022, year on year, it's just that the problem is deepening. So the arrear contributions amount is climbing, as well as the late payment interest.
If there are repeat offenders, and this has been going on for a while, two-part question: how many people have been prosecuted? Because, as you say, it's a statutory crime, and fraud and theft are involved. But how many people have been prosecuted for this? If the answer is few or none, surely it's time to do that. I would think that's a deterrent.
Yes. No, 100%. And that's precisely why we've really strengthened our collaboration with the National Prosecuting Authority, with the South African Police Service, more specifically the DPCI, Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations. And they have committed to prosecuting these matters. So they've asked us for case numbers, etc., from funds who have reported these matters. And there were some teething problems, to be perfectly honest. There were challenges with opening cases, perhaps, not a clear understanding that these are statutory crimes. Remember, on the face of it, it might appear to be civil matters, whereas it is actually a statutory crime.
Yes.
But the NPA and DPCI, they've come to the party and they've looked at it. So these challenges, they facilitated the opening of these matters, looking into it, and of course, advancing the prosecution of these matters. So
That's good news, and we'll follow it with a great deal of interest. Thank you, Zarina Kamruddin, joining us from the FSCA. 702 Drive, 26 minutes past 4.
This Wednesday, July 15th, you could win an estimated 22 million rand total lotto jackpot. That's 17 million for Lotto, 1 million for Lotto Plus One, and 4 million for Lotto 5 Max. Catch the live draw this Wednesday at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Caesar Kaya.
Welcome to Nando's. Taste-demonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Nadine from Belito is no scallop, but she did call the flame-grilled half chicken in Nando's unique peri-peri recipe with a single side of your choice for $125 dope. Whoop, whoop! Whoop, whoop, whoop! Okay, sorry. Relax, Nadine. The only thing we're busting here is your hunger. Okay? Nando's. Oh, what a place.
You're up before everyone else. You're building something real. Absa Business Banking, powered by Visa, gives you everything you need to get going. Open a business account in 10 minutes. Buy a point-of-sale device for $799 and get a credit card all in one place. We get it. Running a business is hard. Your banking shouldn't be. Search Business Starter Pack. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
EWN Business.
Stephen Critis, a very good afternoon to you at 28 minutes past 4. What's been happening on the markets?
Good afternoon, John. Look, I heard you talking there to the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, and there's so much in what's happening around the PIC at the moment. So we've just had in the last hour a new acting chief executive appointed at the PIC, Bathandwa Damoy. 2 directors resigned. This is according to News 24 Business. Carol Payton reporting that Tabi Nkosi and Nosapiwo Belfo have resigned. The CEO's been suspended. And of course, the FSCA is now investigating. There is so much going on at the PIC. We'll try and get to the bottom of some of it on the Money Show tonight. No promises, because it's now such a big, complicated story, John, and you kind of don't know where it's all going to go. I have to say just a few points based on my own experience, and you'll have your own view. Normally, in any kind of government entity, when more than one director resigns, more go. And in the end, you start having to find new directors. In the end, you start with a new board. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. I'm not saying it will, but that's the sort of pattern that we've seen over the years. The JSE Ore share, flat really, down 0.01%. Oil price is still around $85. The Ore share, 110,557 points. Financials down 0.18. Industrials up 1.87, and resources down 1.77% at the moment. Richmond up, and this is really helping the index. They're up 6.29% today. The luxury goods retailer saying their group sales up 20% to 6.3 billion euros in the quarter to the end of June. Lots of rich Americans, John, and that's helped their demand. So Jewelry Masons is up particularly. We had strong growth there at 24%. Specialist watchmakers, earnings up 8%. Fashion and accessories masons up by 9%. I mean, those are huge numbers. at a difficult time. So obviously that's strong for them. And then Naspers and Prosus up by around 4.5%. Interesting things going on with consumer shares. So We Buy Cars and Clicks are up by around 3%. And then you see the Premier Group, and they're down 6.5%. And Italtel and the Foschini Group both down around 3%. Woolies down by around the same as well, actually. Woolies also down over 2.5%. So very interesting movements there. And we see some of the energy shares. So Exaro's up 1.3%. In the Middle East, the US continues with its strikes. Tehran says it'll close shipping routes. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard say they've attacked US military sites in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. Despite all of that, there's been quite a few corporate earnings in the United States. PayPal is up strongly. There's a sort of suggestion of a takeover there. At the same time, you also have new figures coming from Citibank. As a result of that, the Dow Jones is up 0.28%. The Nasdaq is up 0.38%. The S&P 500 is up 0.25%. The gold price at the moment is $4,063.20. Platinum, $1,665.10. Brent crude, $84.86. And the rand to the dollar, 16.33 to the euro, 18.67 to the British pound, 21.95. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Back with us at 5:25. It's 29 minutes to 5 o'clock right now. Let's bring you the latest eyewitness news. Here's Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The Public Investment Corporation has appointed Bathandwa Damoyi as acting chief executive officer with immediate effect. It follows the precautionary suspension of Patrick Dlamini after whistleblower reports accused him of unethical conduct. The board says it believes Damoyi's appointment will ensure the uninterrupted execution of the PIC's mandate. At the same time, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority is investigating the PIC following concerns about governance, leadership stability and transparency. Annelita Fandese reports.
It was a damning whistleblower report that revealed alleged impropriety at the PIC. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority says recent developments at the PIC have raised serious questions about whether the institution is consistently meeting standards expected of a financial services provider entrusted with managing public sector savings. The investigation will be conducted under Section 135 of the Financial Sector Regulation Act. The PIC manages more than 3 trillion rand in assets, including the Government Employees Pension Fund. The FSCA says maintaining public confidence in the institution is critical and has not indicated when it expects the investigation to be completed. Annelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
In the Eastern Cape, the Amatole District Municipality is embroiled in an illegal pension payout scheme by employees who don't qualify. The municipality has now ordered an investigation into the processing of pensions by 19 employees who are not of pensionable age and are still employed by the municipality. Babalondenze reports.
In an internal circular seen by Eyewitness News, Municipal Manager Bekisisa Mthembu says he's noted with grave concern and extreme disappointment that certain employees are engaging in activities that are inconsistent with lawful institutional processes. Mthembu states that the pension payout scheme included the processing and pursuit of pension fund claims without the knowledge or approval of management. In his circular, he states that such conduct constitutes a serious breach of governance, internal control measures, and accepted standards of employee conduct. Mthembu says internal processes are already underway to obtain the full particulars from all relevant pension funds, and a formal investigation will proceed without delay. He says this includes the identity of employees involved in the scheme, the nature of the claims, and the basis upon which such claims were processed. EWN has reached out to the municipality for further comment and is still awaiting a response. Babalondense, Eyewitness News.
And in Zambia, search operations are continuing for 10 Ethiopian nationals believed to have drowned in the Zambezi River. The group went missing after the canoe they were attempting to illegally cross the river with capsized. It's understood they were traveling from Zambia into Botswana. A group of 15 Ethiopians attempted that Zambezi crossing on Monday evening. 2 survivors were arrested, but the whereabouts of the 3 other reported survivors remain unknown. A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 2 and 6 degrees and highs of between 20 and 22.
Leaving Sandton, you can expect heavy delays approaching the intersection of Greyston and Catherine. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic in Alex heading towards Bedford View, N3 southbound between the Butcleans Change and Gilulis.
The top story in EWN, the Public Investment Corporation has appointed Bathandwa Tamoyi as acting chief executive officer with immediate effect.
What is special about this year's 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk is that we actually get to experience the city in a completely different way. So often the city is seen in a negative light, and I feel like the Walk the Talk is going to be breathing new life into the city with people falling in love with it again. You must definitely take part in this year's Walk the Talk because, of course, we often engage across from one another via the phone, via the WhatsApp line, but this time we actually get to see each other in person, and it is always such a beautiful experience. This year, I am eyeing the 5 kilometer because I saw that route and I said, this should be interesting, but I'll see. I might challenge myself. Let's see. To enter the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com or download the app. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see you there.
Johannesburg is calling on Sunday, 26 July. Join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank. Walk the historic streets of the CBD, starting and finishing at Ellis Park, and celebrate a city on the rise, growing, evolving, and full of possibility. It's more than a walk. It's Jozi coming together. Register now for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Standard Bank is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
The 18th of July marks Nelson Mandela Day, a global call to action encouraging us all to spend 67 minutes making a difference. Join the Adopt a School Foundation as we bring companies together to uplift a school in Soweto. Plant a vegetable garden, read to a learner, paint a classroom. Every act of kindness helps create a better learning environment and a brighter future. Honor Madiba's legacy, give your 67 minutes and be part of a lasting change. Visit adoptaschool.org.za for more.
This Wednesday, July 15th, you could win an estimated 22 million rand total lotto jackpot. That's 17 million for Lotto, 1 million for Lotto Plus One, and 4 million for Lotto 5 Max. Catch the live draw this Wednesday at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Caesar Kaya.
You may not be able to drop the price of your child's school fees, but switch to Outsurance and you could drop your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 36-year-old Jill, who saves a jaw-dropping 471 Rand a month on her 2025 Hyundai i20. Don't pay more than you need to. Get a quote from Outsurance to switch and save today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP, TCs and information online.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. My earliest memory of Ellis Park Stadium was when we had that big R&B concert. Like, everyone was here. The Brack was here. 112 was here. Donald Jones was here. I was still very young, still at school. I think standard 8 at the time. But yes, it was amazing. It was amazing being out and, without parents and just being free and having fun, clean fun.
John is Tabo here in Joburg. My memories for Ellis Park was 1986 National Panasonic Champs final, Kaizer Chiefs versus Celtic, where Chiefs had Trevor Kaigapaka, Tim Kulu, Chipa Fetzi, Chipa Mulatedi, and Max Maponyane there. Celtics had Edin Katango and Enes Chirwali and others. Thanks.
Yeah, those were great teams and great cup finals. Now, some of you have talked about music, and Tim Nye sends us this. My strongest memory of Ellis Park is attending a local music concert in the 80s. I traveled by train, taking the yellow and grey train from Garankuwa station to Ellis Park. The journey took about 3 hours. Upon arriving at Bosman station, it's in the heart of Pretoria, I think, I felt scared seeing so many people rushing onto a train to Joburg, and moving between trains felt like a marathon. By Jeppe station, the noise was so lively that I was eager to get off. When I finally reached Ellis Park station, I arrived just in time to see artists like Brenda Fassie, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Blondie, Mac and Alex, and Rebecca Malupe perform. I think, Tim, you're talking about the concert in the park, which was in January 1985. And interestingly enough, 702 was a major partner in that event. It was in aid of a charity called Operation Hunger, which, some of you have noted was something that my mom was involved with. So a very, very special day and an absolutely amazing concert. So thank you for reminding us of that. 19 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
Right, let's catch up with what's happening at the World Cup. Coming to an end, but we've still got a semi-final tonight and 2 games after that.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Well, John, England will play their biggest match since 1966. That's when they go up against FIFA World Cup defending champions Argentina in tonight's second semi-final. The success of the Three Lions has been down to the goal-scoring efforts of Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane, who've scored 12 of their 13 goals. Thomas Tuchel is also looking for an all-round improved showing than the one on display in their quarter-final win over Norway.
We had too much technical errors in our last match that hold us back from finding a rhythm in attack. We were not patient enough. We were not disciplined enough in our positions. That cost us the rhythm of attacking. We improved through the tournament a lot in defending as a team. So this is something that we need to have tomorrow as well on the highest level.
For France, they'll look to end the Didier Deschamps' 14-year coaching era on a winning note when they compete in the bronze medal match on Saturday, having lost 2-0 to Spain in the first semi-final last night. Deschamps will leave the post after being one of only 3 people to win the World Cup as a player and a coach, and having won 20 of his 26 World Cup games as France head coach, losing just 3 times. Captain Kylian Mbappe has praised a man who's reached 2 World Cup finals and a semi-final.
I think nothing changed about what Didier means for us as a French people. As a manager, as a player, he wrote an amazing history. There is one game left for him, so we're going to try to play the best game for him because he deserves it, and also all fans deserve it to have a win and to finish third in this World Cup.
As for the main event, the halftime break during the final is now expected to be around 30 minutes long. That's in order to accommodate FIFA's star-studded show. The extended time breaches the maximum time of 15 minutes that's permitted under the laws of the game and comes after FIFA had initially said the performances would last exactly 11 minutes. There's been a precedent set from last year's World Club Cup final, which saw that show lasting 24 minutes. That's as a result of performers including Coldplay and Thames taking to the stage. As for Haiti, they've reached an agreement to part ways with their coach Sebastien Meunier after he led the country to their first World Cup qualification since 1974. The decision was made by mutual consent and comes after they exited the tournament at the group stages following defeats to Scotland, Brazil and Morocco. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
EWN Traffic.
At 16 minutes to 5, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Karabo Charlie, the jam is now moving to Sandton, close to where we are, although it's a long time until we go home. But where's the problem?
Just around the corner, John. This is leaving Sandton, heading towards the M1. Traffic remains heavily backed up. This is approaching the intersection of Greyston and Catherine. Also traveling towards Midrand, leaving Sandton. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M1 northbound between Athol, Oakland and the Bacloons Change in Alex. Traveling towards Bedford View, expect about a 30-minute delay. N3 southbound from the Patlu interchange to Giluli's, and traffic lights still not working in Woodmead at Woodmead Drive and the M1 South. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 92. I had to rescue my cousin's neighbor's cat from a tree. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. I just have to say this because I can feel my blood boiling a bit, probably more than it should. This idea of a halftime show at the Football World Cup that is going to take 30 minutes is the most stupid, unnecessary, and what's the word? Self-indulgent nonsense. I mean, this stuff that FIFA's introduced, and I get it, and I've probably had to eat my words, and I will happily, on the larger number of teams taking part. I think it's been great. There have been countries who've got, but this is an American thing. Absolutely, completely and entirely. It works for the Super Bowl because that is a sport that has lots of breaks and interruptions in it because that's the nature of the way the game is played. I get it. You can have a halftime show if you want, halfway between two innings in a cricket 50-over World Cup final, because that is part of the game. But honestly, is one more person going to say, I enjoyed it more, or I wasn't going to watch, but I did because there was a halftime show? Find me that person on the planet. Maybe they're out there in the 702 audience, in which place you can call me, and I promise by then I will have cooled down.
John, I can guarantee you that the people that are watching the World Cup final are the ones that don't care about the halftime show. Apart from Gianni Infantino, all of us will be sitting there going, so when does this thing end? I don't know why they would just have like a separate concert, maybe like 3 hours before kickoff.
Yes.
And then we can all have our own personal hydration breaks during that 15 minutes. So then we can come back for the second half. But for Infantino, his legacy and his presidency has taken a lot of hits during this tournament. Going forward, there are things that FIFA will keep. But for football fans, they really will judge him very harshly once all of this is done.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, maybe you think a halftime music show at halftime during the World Cup is a good thing. I'll be happy to consider your arguments, and I promise to consider them calmly and properly, having expressed my rather heated view. Now, earlier today, we were chatting about the Madlanga Commission, and there was a very interesting moment when Justice Madlanga, the counsel for Vusimuzi Matlala, Annelian van den Heever, a couple of times said, with respect and respectfully, and Justice Madlanga said, well, respectfully often doesn't mean with respect, and they had a little chuckle together. Some people thought it was a little bit more pointed than that. It doesn't really matter. But I wanted to ask you, in the place where you work, are there expressions that kind of irritate you, or maybe it's in the wider world where, you know, the expressions simply don't convey what people are saying? I mean, I've been in places, particularly, I must admit, when I lived in London, where people say, can I help you? But what they really meant was, what is a person who looks like you doing in a shop like this? You know, like, shoplifter, we've clocked you. Anything in either our work or other areas of work where there's an expression that absolutely doesn't deal with the issue at hand and actually really irritates?
When we're having a heated debate, then someone's just like, just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Let's have the conversation without you trying to kind of rage bait us into like a different conversation and trying to get a different response. Let's just speak normally and stop advocating for the devil. He doesn't need any more assistance right now.
And that's hedging their bets, because I think sometimes people say, let me play devil's advocate, and then they say what they really think.
Yes.
Karabo Charlie, what annoys you?
I get it a lot
apart from halftime shows, I hope.
I get it a lot from Mpoma Lapile and sometimes you, John, and Jonathan as well. At this time of the afternoon, traffic is hectic and it's busy.
Yes.
And then you go, and the show is also busy because you've got ads and you have interviews. And then you're like, keep it tight. And I'm like thinking, how can I keep it tight? There's so much
No,
to
I get it.
report
As a
on.
spokesperson, when they're like, keep your bullets in short, excuse
Like,
you,
I've already
there's many
written
things
my
happening.
script, and all I can say, FIFA, also keep your halftime show, keep it tight.
Sorry, you're breaking up there? Okay. Yes, no, I agree with you on the okay, I won't ask you to keep it tight unless I absolutely have to, which is, when I need. Anyway, okay, busted on air. Thank you. Give us from your own workplace things people say that you find a little bit irritating. 10 to 5 on 702 Drive.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Right, this is, I think, a really intriguing story. It is to do with a company called Amazon Leo. They offer a satellite broadband service, and they are competing in the same space as Elon Musk's Starlink company does. The interesting thing is Amazon Leo has now secured a license to operate in South Africa. So what's happened here, and crucially, what does it mean? Duncan McLeod is the founder and editor at Tech Central. He's written a very interesting piece. Check it out on the Tech Central platform about the issue, but he's with us now. Duncan, thanks very much for giving us your time. Is Amazon Leo coming in to offer exactly what Starlink was going to offer, or is there room for both of them? Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, John. So, it's a very similar service to what Starlink offers. Starlink is the market leader in low Earth satellite broadband services. They have a head start of several years. But Amazon, of course, the business founded by Jeff Bezos, has launched satellites and is chasing hard. But they were quite some distance behind Starlink. But they are a direct competitor. Very similar product offering in that you have a terminal that you put on the side of your house or mount on your roof. And then you get access to unlimited satellite-based broadband. They're taking a very different approach to Musk in how they come into this market, effectively sidestepping the need for a local telecommunications license by working with partners. And the irony of this is that it now looks likely that unless SpaceX, which owns Starlink, changes its approach to this market, it looks likely that Amazon Leo is going to beat Starlink, and Elon Musk, of course, was born in South Africa to launch services here.
I want to come back to that aspect of it in a moment, but in the intro or near the top of your story, Duncan, you point out that SpaceX has more than 10,000 satellites in orbit. Amazon Leo has 390 satellites in orbit. The difference will be obvious to anybody if you do the math, and not a single commercial customer anywhere on Earth. Does this mean that for a while at least we're going to get something very much in pilot phase and arguably an inferior offering?
It's difficult to know this early because the services haven't been launched commercially yet, but the claims that Amazon is making suggest this is going to be just as good as Starlink in terms of the throughput and latency, the network round-trip time, which is a very important metric for certain online applications. It certainly looks like it's going to be directly comparable to the performance and speeds you can expect from both platforms. So, no, I think the answer to that is no, it's not going to be inferior.
Tell me this then. How? Let's go back to the politics, the legal stuff. How exactly did Amazon go about this? That avoided all the gnarled and often rather snarly entanglements that have characterized the Starlink engagement.
So the short answer to that question is that they have decided to partner with local licensees in the form of HeroTel, which is going to own and operate the ICASA licenses in South Africa. HeroTel is a fiber and wireless broadband provider that's focused on smaller towns around South Africa and more outlying areas. They were recently acquired by Massive, which is the same company that Vodacom bought a 30% stake in. I think it was earlier this year that the deal was concluded. And of course, they also own Vumatel and Dark Fiber Africa. So it's quite a big telecommunications group now and competing aggressively with the likes of the mobile operators and with Telkom. So yeah, that's how they're coming to market. We're going to work through here at Telsa. They're not going to have an operating licensee directly in the country. They're choosing deliberately to work through partners. That's not the approach that Starlink takes, particularly when it comes to offering consumer services. They do also partner with mobile operators, and in fact have a relationship with Vodacom and I think possibly MTN as well. But that would be for providing satellite connectivity to their base stations in outlying areas where it doesn't make sense to deploy, for example, microwave technology or run a fiber line to a base station out in the middle of the Kalahari Desert. So they will partner as well, but Starlink has a very clear business model where it launches directly in markets, and it hasn't deviated from that in any market around the world.
Yes.
And it will no doubt continue to insist that it can't be licensed here until the equity equivalent investment program is in place and ICAS regulations or the Electronic Communications Act is changed to allow them to invest directly without selling any equity in their local licensed operation.
I'm sure that Elon Musk has had sound and well-resourced legal advice as he's explored the opportunities for Starlink in South Africa. They would have let him know that this was potentially an option. Is this a point of principle for him? I mean, to put it perhaps more bluntly and less neutrally, does he prefer to have the problem because the problem allows him to make some personal and political points? Does he prefer that to having a solution? Or is this so fundamentally in opposition to his business model that in fact he can turn around and say, no, I don't do business that way?
It's probably both. I think it's fair to say to speculate that he enjoys meddling in South Africa's politics, given that he grew up here and went to school here. And clearly has strong views on our politics. We know that he's been warring with Julius Malema on X for years. So he seems quite invested in this country, despite the fact that he hasn't lived here for many decades and that he's now an American citizen. He is very much still invested in the country. His father, of course, lives in Langebaan on the West Coast.
Yes.
And so he still has an attachment to the country. And, of course, he's very much mixed up in American conservative politics as well. And, as you know, supported Trump and headed up the Department of Government Efficiency for a while, which cut a lot of aid to Africa. So yeah, he's clearly enjoys politics, and I think he's having a lot of fun messing in our politics, to be honest.
Duncan McLeod, thank you very much, editor of Tech Central, and do have a look on the Tech Central site at the pieces written under the headline "Amazon Leo secures license to operate in SA and outmaneuvers Starlink." It's a very, very interesting scenario because on the one hand, you do have Starlink through its founder and CEO Elon Musk saying, for example, we'll look at all the good we can do, all the people we can reach with telecoms if we come to South Africa, but then choosing not to take this particular option, which Amazon Leo has concluded, it would seem correctly, allows them access without having to deal with some of the difficulties that Mr. Musk has been so keen on highlighting. Give us your views, please, on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. 2 minutes to 5.
The world is moving fast. Consumer mindsets and preferences are changing in real time. AI is creating new rules, and timelines are shorter than ever. At Plus 94 Research, we help leaders reduce uncertainty. We deliver authentic, real-time data grounded in proven methodologies and powered by relevant, cutting-edge technology. So when decisions can't wait, you move forward with clarity, confidence, and impact. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision-making.
Joburg is calling. Step into the heart of the city as the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk takes over the streets once again. The Gauteng Provincial Government invites you to lace up, show up, and experience Johannesburg like never before. From iconic landmarks to vibrant neighborhoods, live music, local flavor, and the unmistakable energy of the city, every step tells a story. Bring your friends, bring the family, and be part of the movement. This isn't just a walk. It's Joburg, alive and on the move.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care. We cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is not a medical scheme and the cover is not the same. FlexiCare is underwritten by Auto & General, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, an authorized FSP.
It's Harold's hotline. Pat on the line.
Harold, I'm panicking. I've been walking around the mall for 4 hours. I'm currently staring at a scented candle, a car tire pressure gauge, and a pack of batteries. Should I just get all of them?
Gee, Pat, you're not buying a birthday gift. You're building a lost and found bin.
I thought if I get enough variety, one of them had to hit the mark.
My friend, you're confusing a birthday with a roadside emergency kit.
The mall is closing in 10 minutes, Harold.
Good. Get out of there, click on Net Florist, get a beautiful floral arrangement and a personalised bottle of their favourite wine. Net Florist. It's easy to show you care.
Manufacturing is critical to driving socio-economic growth and transformation, both in South Africa and the rest of the continent. As a key role player, the Industrial Development Corporation continues to support this sector by providing support to qualifying entities and entrepreneurs in the sector. If your business is manufacturing and operates in automotive and transport equipment, chemicals, minerals and industrial mineral products, machinery, equipment and electronics, or textiles and wood products, visit idc.co.za to check your eligibility for funding.
This is EWN.
The PIC appoints an acting CEO as governance challenges continue, and experts roped in to probe recent Cartrack employee death. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Public Investment Corporation has appointed Bathandwa Damoyi as acting chief executive officer with immediate effect. This follows the precautionary suspension of Patrick Dlamini after whistleblower reports accused him of unethical conduct. The board says it believes Damoyi's appointment will ensure the uninterrupted execution of the PIC's mandate. At the same time, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority is investigating the PIC over concerns about governance, leadership stability and transparency. Anelita Fandese reports.
It was a damning whistleblower report that revealed alleged impropriety at the PIC. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority says recent developments at the PIC have raised serious questions about whether the institution is consistently meeting standards expected of a financial services provider entrusted with managing public sector savings. The investigation will be conducted under Section 135 of the Financial Sector Regulation Act. The PIC manages more than 3 trillion rand in assets, including the Government Employees Pension Fund. The FSCA says maintaining public confidence in the institution is critical and has not indicated when it expects the investigation to be completed. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
The Labour Department says its investigation into the death of a Cartrack employee will determine whether there is a causal link between her death and allegations of poor working conditions. Minister Nomakosazana Meth visited the company's headquarters today, nearly 2 months after Gcina Dladla died in a workplace toilet cubicle. Meth says the department has appointed specialists to conduct a thorough investigation, with the probe expected to be completed within 3 months. Nkosukwana Malingamnisi reports.
The circumstances surrounding the death of 29-year-old Gcina Dladla have come back into focus as the Department of Employment and Labour confirms its investigation is continuing. Speaking to EWN shortly after her death, Dladla's family alleged she had repeatedly complained about intolerable working conditions and feared victimization if she took sick leave. Labour and Employment Minister Nomakosazana Meth says investigators are examining all these circumstances surrounding Dladla's death, including whether the company contravened labour laws.
To have the capacity and the speciality to investigate, to even be able to see if there is a causal link, that we do. That is the reason why we've got a multidisciplinary team of experts, including the ones from the International Labour Organization, who want to leave no stone unturned.
Cartrack continues to deny the allegations, which sparked widespread outrage on social media and prompted calls for accountability from civil society organizations and political parties. Eyewitness News.
We shift our focus to this now. Some of South Africa's leading infectious disease experts are undergoing specialized Ebola preparedness training this week. The National Institute for Communicable Diseases has confirmed that members of its technical team are attending a 4-day workshop in Pretoria. This comes as the country steps up its readiness for any possible imported cases. Although there are no confirmed Ebola infections in South Africa, the outbreak has killed over 750 people from over 2,000 confirmed cases in the DRC and Uganda. Mongezi Gogo reports.
In a written response to Eyewitness News, the NICD confirmed its technical team will remain at the training workshop until Thursday. The institute is home to one of only 2 biosafety level 4 laboratories in Africa, which are high containment facilities equipped to safely test some of the world's most dangerous pathogens, including Ebola. The laboratory also provides specialized testing support to other countries in the region, making it a key part of Africa's disease surveillance network. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi explains.
So most of the countries around, if they suspect somebody has got Ebola, they are going to bring the sample to NICD because it is as the center that can handle very deadly pathogens.
The training forms part of a broader national effort to ensure South Africa's scientists, laboratories and health systems are ready should the virus reach the region. Mongezi Gogo, Eyewitness News.
Former Police Minister Fikile Mbalula says he was not privy to the police's investigations into cases referred for criminal investigation by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Mbalula testified before the TRC Cases Inquiry today, which is examining allegations that the police stalled investigations into apartheid-era crimes. Families of victims who were abused or killed by apartheid security forces believe the post-1994 government failed to properly pursue these cases. Mbalula says because he served as police minister between 2017 and 2018, he was not privy to the handling of most of these cases.
If anyone was supposed to be prosecuted and all of that, the relevant authorities within the state were supposed to follow up on those. So I was just there, and therefore I was not privy to the investigations because investigations are confidential and classified.
And in Uganda, opposition leader Kizza Besigye has refused to accept court-appointed lawyers for his treason trial. The 70-year-old longtime rival of President Yoweri Museveni is accused of plotting to remove the president from power by force. Besigye has been in jail since 2024 when he was kidnapped in Kenya and smuggled back into Uganda. When his treason trial began earlier this week, the court said he had to choose from a list of state-approved lawyers, but Besigye refused. The judge in the case says he has 2 weeks to accept the lawyers, and the case has since been adjourned until the 29th of July. Gold is trading at $4,058.95 an ounce. The rand is at 16.32 to the dollar, 21.99 to the pound, 18.67 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $85.14 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in Sandton, heading towards Midrand, there's still bumper-to-bumper traffic, M1 south, northbound between Ethel, Auckland and the Patroon interchange. Still leaving Sandton, traffic pressure approaching the intersection of Greyston and Catherine.
In your sport, final spot up for grabs as England and Argentina clash in FIFA World Cup semi-final. Vusi Moyo embracing Springbok dream ahead of his debut. And World Cup ODI and T20 cricket format changes are revealed by the ICC.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 4 degrees, peaking at 20. Pretoria 6 and 22, and Vereeniging 2 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the Public Investment Corporation has appointed Bathandwa Damoyi as acting CEO with immediate effect.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
.702 Drive, welcome to the last hour. It's 5:10. Coming up shortly, we're going to be talking to our EWN colleague, Lindsay Dentlinger. A long and very dense day in terms of content and contesting arguments down in the Western Cape High Court. This will be in regard to President Cyril Ramaphosa's bid to interdict the operations of Parliament's impeachment committee, looking into the Phala matter and all the other issues around it, including the implications of the judgment delivered earlier this year by the Constitutional Court. Lindsay joining us for that a little bit later. Lots of stuff to discuss. You've been sending us your views on all sorts of things. We spoke earlier to Duncan McLeod from Tech Central, who had gave us a very clear picture of how Amazon, through its entity Leo, has got in ahead of Starlink in that particular section of the telecoms markets. And I see a couple of you are sending us messages responding to that. We've asked you for your Ellis Park memories. Thanks for those. We'll announce the winner of our daily competition, the prize, 2 VIP tickets to join us at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in that VIP area. Every year we have the Walk the Talk. Is really, really special. Great music, excellent company, we promise, and there'll be some good food as well. We'll give you the winner a little bit later, but a couple more entries before we do that. And then we asked for words, expressions, and phrases in the place where you work and what it is that you might dislike about those. A few of you have got some strong views on that. So let's get into what we've been getting on 072 702 1702. Some of your voice notes.
John, 1997, Michael Jackson. I went to 2 concerts in 1997. He had a 3-day concert, I think in Joburg, Ellis Park. So that's my memory of Ellis Park in 1997, Michael Jackson. My kids don't like me bragging about this, but yeah, that's why I went to Zolile, Joburg.
Afternoon, John. That Amazon guy. Some pertinent questions you asked him. So what they are saying, you can't have a top of the range 4x4 or Ferrari. You must have some kiddie's go-kart that, by the way, has only got 3 wheels and we haven't finished building it yet. What a load of rubbish. Have a good afternoon further, Tom.
Thank you for the great show. Thank you, Prajan. Mine, because I work for the government, is dear. Oh, don't call me dear. Oh, Lord. I feel like strangling a person because already on their emails, they say dear. Dear this, dear that. And then they found you and they say dear again. And I'm like, please don't do that. I'm only dear to my mother and my father. Oh, okay. Cheers.
Well, send some of the dears my way. Nobody calls me dear. I quite miss it. I think we need to have some changes around here. One change I don't like and I don't want is a halftime concert at the World Cup final, which is going to mean the halftime break is going to be 30 minutes. It's absurd, and I expressed a strong view on that, asked you what you thought. Darian says, I could not agree with you more. 30-minute break during halftime for the World Cup 2026 is just absurd. He says, I prefer the Afrikaans saying belachlik. And thank you for that, because I was wondering that maybe I was being kleinlik, which is another very nice and descriptive Afrikaans word. Your thoughts on that, please do get in touch if you like. Now, we're going to play you some music later in the show. And prompted by the news that Brandy is going to be touring or headlining a larger touring group and performance list of artists in December, prompted us to ask the best female R&B singer from the 90s. Now, some of you, for example, sent me DJ Jazzy Jeff. You misheard the female part, please. We will do that another time, men perhaps, but we're talking about female singers. Well, some of you happen to think that Brandy might have been the very best from the 90s. Let's put that to the test.
When you feel your heart's got it, and you see the break started, when the clouds have all departed, you'll be right here with me.
B-Rock, Dog Child, V-Back.
You'll be right here with me.
Please do send those to us on 072 702 1702. It's 5:15.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Keep it tight, please. Traffic problems in Sandton. Nah, go on as long as you like.
All right, dear John, I'll keep it as tight as you want. And to the dear listeners, please, if you're leaving Sandton, you can expect heavy delays approaching the intersection of Catherine and Grayston, heading towards Midrand. Also, slow-moving traffic, M1 northbound. This is between Ethel Oaklands and the Between Interchange. While in Alexandra, expect about a 30-minute delay traveling towards Germiston. This is N3 southbound from the Between Interchange to Geldenace. And in Benoni, Boksburg, traffic pressure on Atlas Road. This is heading towards the N12. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You may not be able to drop the price of your child's school fees, but switch to Outsurance and you could drop your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 36-year-old Jill, who saves a jaw-dropping 471 Rand a month on her 2025 Hyundai i20. Don't pay more than you need to. Get a quote from Outsurance to switch and save today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
This Wednesday, July 15th, you could win an estimated 22 million Rand total lotto jackpot. That's 17 million for Lotto, 1 million for Lotto Plus One, and 4 million for Lotto 5 Max. Catch the live draw this Wednesday at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Caesar.
Manufacturing is critical to driving socio-economic growth and transformation, both in South Africa and the rest of the continent. As a key role player, the Industrial Development Corporation continues to support this sector by providing support to qualifying entities and entrepreneurs in the sector. So, if your business is manufacturing and operates in automotive and transport equipment, chemicals, minerals and industrial mineral products, machinery, equipment and electronics, or textiles and wood products, visit idc.co.za to check your eligibility for funding.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials.
It's the flavor!
Real reviews by real people. Nico from Kailami is in touch with his emotions. So when we asked about the Nando's Peri Peri half chicken and a single side for only $125, he said,
I'm sad. I finished it.
Nikos, ungawari. Because this chicken season has more episodes. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Big advances in health are happening right here in South Africa. Local researchers are studying a new TB vaccine called M72 that could help stop people from getting seriously ill. And programs like Coach Mpilo are helping men living with HIV overcome stigma, start treatment and stay on it through peer support and private chat guidance. It's South Africans helping shape the future of global health, supported by the Gates Foundation for 25 years. Partners of Human Potential.
The Industrial Development Corporation remains committed to transforming Africa's industrial future. If your business is in manufacturing, operating in automotive and transport equipment, chemicals, minerals and industrial mineral products, machinery, equipment and electronics, or textiles and wood products, there could be funding opportunities available. Visit idc.co.za to check your eligibility for funding.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, a very, very busy and important day down in the Western Cape High Court. The issue at hand is the attempt by President Cyril Ramaphosa to interdict the work of Parliament's impeachment committee. He's looking for an interim interdict, as I understand it. And at the center of all of this, an inquiry into the theft of US dollars from the president's Limpopo farm, Phala Phala, all the way back in 2020. Was it really 6 years ago? Seems that it is. The matter before a full bench comprising Judge Andre Lachranji and Judges Matthew Francis and Diane Davis. So what's happened in the court so far? Lindsay Dentlinger has been trying to follow the proceedings over, as I say, a long and often quite complex day. Lindsay, you're going to make sense of it all for us. How have they proceeded? Who was first and what followed? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. Well, I expected that there would have been an argument about urgency in this matter, as is usually the case, but the court has allowed the matter to proceed to hear the arguments first from the president, who was represented by Advocate Wim Trengove, on why it is that he wants this interim interdict, telling the court that the president will suffer reputational harm, his dignity will be affected, and that he will be subjected to a public pillorying before Parliament if the court does not allow the time it will take to review the report on which this inquiry is based. Of course, that is a separate application that is due to be heard later this year, but inevitably today the arguments did cross over into that particular matter. Advocate Trengove again postulating that report, while it considered evidence before it, it did not ask the question whether that evidence is indeed enough to indicate that the president willfully broke the law, willfully misconducted himself, and for that reason, he says, the time must be given for the court to review that particular report. And then we heard from the respondents in this case, John, chiefly the impeachment committee itself, also from the various political parties which have opposed this application, and in the main sharing similar sentiments that the president is accountable to Parliament. It is only through political representatives that South African citizens can question whether their president has at all committed criminal acts. And for that reason, he couldn't evade accountability before Parliament, questioning why, if the president had such an issue with this process, why he didn't take issue back in 2022 when the African Transformation Movement tabled that motion in the National Assembly that started this entire impeachment process. So a long day of arguments from the various political parties, and we expect a reply from the president's legal representative when proceedings resume tomorrow, John.
Any intervention is probably the wrong word, but any comments from the bench, either from Justice Lachranji or the two assessors sitting with him? I mean, have they given any indication as to where their minds are going as to what is important and what isn't?
It is difficult to tell because they obviously change their line of questioning depending on the arguments that are made and essentially play devil's advocate to the arguments. But Judge Davis did question whether the respondents were reading too much into the constitutional court order in May, which ordered that Parliament carry out this impeachment process. It was Dali Mpofu who had been arguing for the EFF and the UAT that said the court has told Parliament to proceed unless this report is reviewed and set aside. And the judge questioning whether perhaps respondents were reading too much detail, saying that the order appeared to be pretty neutral. But the comeback to all of that from the respondents is questioning whether the Western Cape High Court has jurisdiction at all to intervene in an order that the Constitutional Court has already made. Of course, the judge is also probing as to the extent of this reputational harm that the president says he will suffer if he is subjected to oral testimony before this report is reviewed. So difficult to tell, but as I said, towards the end of the day, the argument really is about, or put to the bench, whether they indeed have the jurisdiction to interfere in a constitutional court order, John.
Thanks so much, Lindsay Dentlinger. And there's, of course, another day tomorrow, which is going to be of great importance as well. 25 minutes past 5 now. Just seen that there is yet another vehicle recall. This is news on ENCA, and we're seeing it elsewhere as well. Ford Transit and Tourneo vehicles are being recalled due to a transmission fault. And these are vehicles sold during a very, very specific time period between let me just get these dates right. Yeah, the 7th of October in 2025 and June 2026. So, I'm first of all, I'm very keen to make sure that any of you own those vehicles or know people who do. Please just take a note of that. But again, if your vehicle and the vehicle that you own has been affected by any kind of vehicle recall, what kind of service have you got? What kind of feedback have you got on the problems? Have problems recurred? There's so many issues that we could get your insights into. Obviously, we report when the recalls take place. We've spoken extensively to the National Consumer Commission and various entities involved with vehicle manufacture, but there's nothing like getting your experience from the ground. So recalls and you, anything to share? 072 702 1702. It's 26 minutes past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Well, throughout the show today, we've been asking you for your Ellis Park memories. We did it yesterday, and we'll do it again for the last time tomorrow. We're doing this because Ellis Park is the start and finish point of the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk. And we're going to make memories, very much so, on the 26th of July next week. But hopefully they're building on other memories you have of Ellis Park. We've got lots of great entries again today. This is the one we've decided to highlight.
Hi, John. My Ellis Park memories go back to that dreadful night at the Ellis Park where Chiefs and Pirates played. And yeah, man, a lot of people died. My dad and I were actually hustling. We were selling flags at the time. And we actually left much earlier because we ran out of stock. And then, yeah, we heard on the news that there's been a stampede and quite a lot of people died. So, yeah, that was one of the memories. But I did go back there later, I think 10 years later, and I watched a rugby game between the Lions and the Bulls. So, yeah, man, Ellis Park. Crazy memories. Tino from Campton.
So, we were struck by how Tino captured absolute horror, but also the fact that Ellis Park, for many people, has provided other kinds of memories as well. And Tino joins us on the line now from Kempton Park. Tino, thanks for sharing what must have been a painful memory for you. I hope that being back at the stadium for the rugby match at least in some way connected you to all the wonderful things that have happened at Ellis Park. When you went back for the rugby, I just wanted to ask you, did you feel any fear or apprehension about being there again?
First of all, good afternoon to the 702 viewers. Thank you, John, for taking my call, and thank you for choosing me for this accolade. Yeah, when I went back there for the rugby, the memories did sort of like come back.
Yes.
I just saw the I mean, the stadium was, fairly empty in a way. But in that night, the memories just literally overwhelmed me at the rugby, because I just remembered that, I just remembered a huge, avalanche of people gushing through the security gate, because we were literally just outside, of the security gates with our flags, and I mean, it brought those memories, but yet again, it was a nice evening to watch rugby at Ellis Park, definitely.
So, Tino, we'd love to have you back at Ellis Park on the 26th of July. It is the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. We're going to give you 2 VIP tickets for the day. Pick a walk, 5Ks, 8Ks, 15, whatever you feel like doing. And then whoever is accompanying you, and of course yourself, please come and join us in the VIP area. We'll have some great food. There'll be excellent company. There'll be music going on. And we look forward to seeing you, and hopefully... and certainly an Ellis Park day that will create different memories. But thank you for sharing memories of a night that we should never forget. Tino in Kempton Park, winner of today's 702 Jozi My Jozi competition. As I said, we'll do it again tomorrow. Let's talk business.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, very good afternoon to you. The markets today, the money show tonight.
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, the JSE All Share down 0.25% at 110,289 points. Financials down 0.25%. Industrials up to resources down 2.8 at the end. Brent crude is down slightly from where we were an hour ago, but still much higher than it was sort of 2 days ago. Strong results out of Richmond, and that's helped to lift the index. So essentially what happened is that there was strong demand in the US, and that increased their group sales by 20% in the quarter to the end of June. Jewelry Masons up 24%, so really strong results there. They're up 6.5% on the day. Naspers and Process up by around 5%. And then We Buy Cars and Clicks up by around 2.5-3% on the day. Interesting as well to see the coal producer Exara up 1.3%. Premier, they're down 6.65%. They're in the food business, John. And then some of the platinum and oil and the gold shares are down. But then also some of the other consumer shares. So Total down 3.2%. The Foschini Group and Woolworths both down by around 2.5%. So many strange goings on at the PIC today. Almost can't keep up. So this morning, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority confirming they're investigating what's happening at the PIC. Remember, the CEO's been suspended. Then News 24 Business reporting 2 directors have resigned, Tabi and Nkosi Nosapiwa Belfour. Both of them, by the way, serve on the committee overseeing unlisted investments. Then later, Bathandwa Damoy confirmed as the acting chief executive officer. John, there's so much going on here. We'll try and get to the bottom of it as much as we can. I worry that we'll sort of see some kind of investigation that leaves things a bit muddy. But we do need to know a lot more about what's going on there. In the US, despite very high oil prices or high-ish oil prices, a flurry of corporate activity there, so results coming through which have all been fairly positive, and at the same time, a lower than expected producer price inflation. So the Dow Jones up 0.41, the Nasdaq up 0.18, the S&P 500 also up 0.18. The gold price, $4,046.94 an ounce, platinum $1,634.67, Brent crude $83.67, the rand to the dollar 16.32 to the euro, 18.68 to the British pound, 22.02. So on the Money Show, more on the PIC, more on the situation regarding our steel industry. We'll check in with the rollout of fibre, John. The regulation of how you roll out fibre is intensely complicated. You have to deal with municipalities.
Yes.
Get that look of your face. And so what that means then is we'll look at that this evening. I think that's going to be important. Then your shapeshifter this evening is Lincoln Mali. And he's the CEO at Lusaka, but done all sorts of things in his life. In the prep I've seen, I'll ask him, he was expelled from his high school. I wonder how that principal feels now. But
yes.
Check me out now. Also, a bit of a conversation about not so much a 4-day week, which I always think is a bit of madness, but how we should actually manage working weeks. Actually, a much bigger conversation when you think about it. Really interesting. Because the 5-day week's fairly arbitrary. I mean, if Bafana or the Springboks are playing, shouldn't that just be a weekend? Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
I would settle happily for a 5-day week, I must say. 7:02 Drive. Let's catch up with the very latest eyewitness news. Problems earlier out at the Barra taxi rank, I believe. Mbali Dlamini has an update on where we stand on that now and some other important stories as well. Here she is.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Johannesburg Emergency Services have managed to extinguish a fire at the Barra taxi rank in Soweto. The fire broke out earlier today, engulfing a total of 4 shops. The cause of the blaze is still under investigation, but firefighters managed to bring it under control quickly. Joburg EMS spokesperson Johannesburg EMS spokesperson Robert Mulawudzi says no injuries have been reported.
We're still continuing to encourage our residents out there to ensure that all heating devices which might cause fire incidents are well looked after, so that we can be able to prevent fire incident during this winter season.
In the Eastern Cape, the Amatole District Municipality is embroiled in an illegal pension payout scheme by employees who don't qualify. The municipality has now ordered an investigation into the processing of pensions by 19 employees who are not of pensionable age and are still employed by the municipality. Babalondenze reports.
In an internal circular seen by Eyewitness News, Municipal Manager Beksisa Mthembu says he's noted with grave concern and extreme disappointment that certain employees are engaging in activities that are inconsistent with lawful institutional processes. Mthembu states that the pension payout scheme included the processing and pursuit of pension fund claims without the knowledge or approval of management. In his circular, he states that such conduct constitutes a serious breach of governance, internal control measures, and accepted standards of employee conduct. Mthembu says internal processes are already underway to obtain the full particulars from all relevant pension funds, and a formal investigation will proceed without delay. He says this includes the identity of employees involved in the scheme, the nature of the claims, and the basis upon which such claims were processed. EWN has reached out to the municipality for further comment and is still awaiting a response. Babalondense, Eyewitness News.
Presidential spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says South Africa is facing a coordinated campaign which will see it isolated from the rest of the continent. This follows a fallout over anti-illegal immigration protests. Government has faced criticism from some African countries over its handling of the protests, which in some instances turned violent. Critics have accused authorities of not doing enough to protect migrants. Magwenya accused the Ghanaian diplomatic representative of peddling false information and claims that even routine diplomatic engagements have been deliberately misrepresented to fuel this campaign.
And so it's surprising why we are continuously experiencing this anti-diplomatic and unconstructive posture coming from some in Ghana. What does encourage us is that there are political leaders in Ghana, in Parliament, who do recognize the challenge South Africa is facing.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 2 and 6 degrees and highs of between 20 and 22.
Leaving Sandton, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic approaching the intersection of Catherine and Grayston, also heading towards Midrand, leaving the Sandton area, slow-moving traffic. M1 northbound from Ethel Oaklands to the Butlu interchange. Alex, traveling towards Germiston, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and Galdenes.
The top story in EWN, Johannesburg Emergency Services have extinguished a fire at the Barra taxi rank which broke out earlier in Soweto.
Chamberlain now has 10 branches throughout Gauteng, with 36,000 items in stock 98.5% of the time. Our available and knowledgeable staff are ready to help you. Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people, on Sunday 26 July. Babize Bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 5K Victoria Yards route takes you from Ellis Park through the inspirational Joburg Cricket Club into Victoria Yards and past the Troyville Hotel. You then finish off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on the 5K, 8K or 15-kilometre walk, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
We asked rugby legend Francois Steyn what he thinks of the all-new Toyota BZ4X. France, would you say the BZ4X is a rugged all-wheel drive SUV?
Yeah.
Cool. Was the acceleration and handling good?
Yeah.
All right. So you think the BZ4X can handle South Africa?
Wat dink jy?
Well, there you have it. The all-new Toyota BZ4X, an all-wheel drive battery electric SUV made to handle South Africa. The BZ4X. It just got real.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon. Nice show as always. Daddy John. Contact halftime. Good afternoon. Nice show as always. Daddy John. Contact halftime. 30 minutes no hard. Man, the Americans are doing as they please with FIFA, eh? I know FIFA has become Americans' puppet. First it was the hydration break. Now is the concert during halftime. Do they ever consider what the players feel or how this is gonna impact the teams? I just feel like it's unnecessary and it just goes against everything that we love about the beautiful game of football. I hope that this doesn't continue going forward. I am so over these American World Cup. I just win. Anyway, thanks, Dr. John Mraro in Cape Town Park.
John, at my work, my manager always say 100%, 100%. I'll see to it, and he says 100%, and he's going to do nada about it. That really irks me. Somebody you talk to them, and it seems like a promise, 100%, but nothing is done. Thank you, John.
Yeah, 100%. I can imagine how irritating that would get. One more on the halftime show, and Muhlomi, I want to read this because right at the beginning of us talking about Ellis Park memories, this was exactly something I highlighted as probably my best Ellis Park memory. But here's Muhlomi. The only time a 30-minute break during a soccer match became acceptable was during that memorable day at Ellis Park. I think it was Madiba's inauguration day. Indeed, it was. May 10th, 1994. He continues. The new president arrived at halftime and Bafana Bafana scored 2 quick goals via Dr. Khumalo and Brendan Augustine to beat Zambia 2-1. We'd never beaten them before. Phil Masinga, by the way, involved in both of those goals. It was fabulous. This is me speaking here. I had the privilege of being the commentator on the day for SABC alongside Dan Sitsedi, the legendary Dan. And he concludes, Muhlomi does, by saying, Trump and Infantino, of course, have none of that Madiba magic. It's 18 minutes now to 6.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele Mganga World Cup semi-final to look up to today, and a young man playing for the Springboks on Saturday. Lots to talk about. Over to you.
Thanks so much, John. And Spain will find out their FIFA World Cup final opponents this evening as England and Argentina clash in the second semi-final in Atlanta. The Three Lions are looking to win this trophy for the first time since 1966, and Thomas Tuchel has discussed the challenge that awaits them against the defending champions.
They are experienced in tournament football. They kept the same group of players, the core group of players. They have a very experienced, very, very good coach. They're together for a long time, so you see that. They love to play in the middle of the pitch. They love to have the short passes. They're always looking for the gaps, and the technical execution of the delivery and of the supply of Messi is just on an absolutely highest level.
Jordan Pickford is going up against Messi for the first time in his career and has shared what it will take to stop the record tournament scorer from leading his nation to a second consecutive global final.
He scored so many goals and he's contributed to so many goals as well over his career, and it's great to be able to finally come up against him for so long and watching him as a kid. And but we all know how good Messi is, but we also know how good Argentina is, so can't just solely rely on Messi. We've got to focus on the other strengths as well and the other weaknesses we can take advantage of.
Vusi Moyo says he's living out his dream as he prepares to make his senior Springbok debut against Wales in the Nations Championship this Saturday. Moyo will become the fourth youngest Springbok at 20 years and 27 days as he adds another accolade to his young career. Having matriculated in 2024, he was then part of the junior Bok team that won the Under-20 Championship in 2025, and then he made his senior debut for the Sharks back in May.
Try my best not to make it about myself this whole week. You've got Ruben, Carlu and Yaku Williams that are all making their debut. So it's also us just implementing what the coaches have taught us into this weekend. So it's not just about myself, but those guys as well. If you have two-time champions or world champions, then it's easier for you to learn from them. And yeah, just hope you implement those skills.
And the ICC have approved a new format for next year's Men's ODI World Cup, including the introduction of additional stages designed to make the tournament more competitive. Under the new system, the 3 lowest-ranked qualified teams will play a round-robin Super Series, with the winner then advancing to the group stage. That stage will feature 12 teams split into 2 groups of 6, and the top 3 teams, along with the best 4th-place team, qualify for the Super 7 stage. In that stage, each team play each other once in a single round-robin, with the top 4 sides advancing to the semi-finals. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
5:45 right now. You probably are heading off somewhere, or you're already on your way somewhere. You need to know where the snags might be. Here's Karabo Charlie with the very latest info.
Thanks, Ntate John. So at this stage, if you are leaving Alberton heading towards Soweto, expect about a 20-minute delay in the Southgate area. This is on the N12 westbound between Xavier and Deep Kloof interchange. This is due to an earlier accident. Leaving Sandton heading towards the M1, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is approaching the intersection of Catherine and Grayston. Heading towards Midrand, slow-moving traffic. On the M1 northbound. This is from Ethel Aucklands to the Butkley interchange. In Alexandra, traveling towards Bedford View, Germiston, expect about a 30-minute delay. This is on the N3 southbound from the Butkley interchange to Geldenays, Benoni, Boksburg, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on Atlas Road, approaching the N12. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, let's enjoy some music. Let's take ourselves back into the 90s, and we're prompted to do that because of the news that Grammy Award-winning R&B singer Brandy will be headlining the 2026 All-White Soul Sessions concert in South Africa. Put these dates in your diary if you are very keen to go. Pretoria at the Sunbet Arena, December 17 and 18. The Grand Arena in Cape Town at Grand West on December 14. 13 Grammy nominations for Brandy, who was recently honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But of course, everybody has their favorites. Everybody likes to debate who's the best at anything. And so we've asked you this question, your view of the greatest R&B artist from the 90s. Please send us your suggestions. Send them now so that we can dig out the song. And by the way, mention the artist, but also choose a favorite song. While you're doing that, let's just bring in Karabo Charlie and ask him who he would select when faced with the same question. You've got an answer for us.
Yeah, I hope she was still alive. Unfortunately, she died at a tender age of 22, and I was still a early teenager. And when she died in an airplane crash, I cried. I was inconsolable. I remember I was a big fan, John. I had a big poster in my bedroom, and we're talking about Aaliyah. And the song I picked was Try Again.
Been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step 2, step 2, step 2, step 2, step 2, step 2. Think it. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step 2, step 2, step 2, step 2, step 2. Think it, baby girl.
What would you do to get to me? What would you say to have your way? Would you give up or try again? If I hesitate to let you in, now would you be yourself or play a role? Tell all the boys or keep it low. If I say no, would you turn away or play me off? Or would you stay? Oh, if the first you don't succeed,
Leah with Try Again from the year 2000 earned her a Grammy nomination for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance, earned her an MTV Video Music Award for Best Female Video and Best Video from a Film, and winner in both of those categories. So clearly a contender for Best 1990s Female R&B Singer. That's the selection of my colleague Karabo Charlie. What's yours? Send us, please, your note on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's 11 minutes now to 6.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the positive growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner, passionate about the growth of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement that's helping build a safer, stronger, and spirited Josie for generations to come. Register now and take the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
Have you heard of the respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV? Most parents haven't, even though 2 out of 3 babies will be infected by it before their first birthday. For most babies, RSV causes mild, cold-like symptoms, but for some of them, it can get worse and lead to bronchiolitis or pneumonia, which might require a trip to the doctor or even lead to hospitalization. Sanofi is working to support families during RSV season by sharing guidance on simple preventive steps to keep your baby safe.
This Wednesday, July 15th, you could win an estimated 22 million rand total lotto jackpot. That's 17 million for Lotto, 1 million for Lotto Plus One, and 4 million for Lotto 5 Max. Catch the live draw this Wednesday at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Caesar Kaya.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
All right, Uncle John, I'll go with Tamia, Careless Whisper. Tamia, Careless Whisper used to be one of my good. It reminds me of my high school time. Thank you, Prajan. Speaking to Johnny in Mremadi.
Comfort in the truth. Pain is all you'll find. Feel so unsure as you take my hand and lead me to the dance floor as the music dies.
Tamia there with Careless Whisper, the song first done by George Michael, as I'm sure you know. Ingatani says, John, it has to be Whitney Houston. I love her, especially the Shoop Shoop song.
Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. For every win, someone must fail. But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah. Say, shoot, 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 baby. All you gotta do is say, shoo, baby, shoo, baby, my love.
Whitney Houston, Exhale, Shoop Shoop from 1995. Let's carry on with your suggestions and your selections and your view of who is the greatest R&B female artist from the 90s. And this one says it has got to be Mariah Carey. Sophia believes, always be my baby. I would give my left foot to see her live in SA. From Mariah Carey, we move on to Kieran's suggestion. He's punting for Tony Braxton and offers this as evidence, another sad song. Sounds of Tony Braxton there. Chad comes in with another person, which I'm sure will get a lot of people nodding their heads. Sade, King of Sorrow. The question we asked you, the very best female R&B singer from the 1990s. So apologies where everybody is, people are still sending us male singers. Promise, we'll do male singers a little bit later. And then somebody sends us a long list. Brandy, Mariah Carey, Tamia, Mary J. Blige, Tony Braxton, TLC, SWV, Aaliyah, Boys to Men. Nope, they don't fit in there. I think we're back into the general R&B category. But yeah, one more of your voice notes. Yeah, great stuff there from Sade Lindora. Legion in Montana goes with Faith Evans and her song Never Letting Go. One more voice note to close us out.
Hey, this is Victor from Sunny Hill. My favorite female R&B artist of the 1990s would be Janet Jackson. My favorite song of hers would be Got Till It's Gone. Still waiting for Janet to come through to South Africa after letting us down 2 years ago. Peace.
Janet Jackson with some inspiration there from Joni Mitchell, bringing us to an end of today's edition of 702 Drive. I'm John Perlman. Have a great Wednesday. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Rewards. Get double cash back when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of